We are back. Thank you for joining us this week and making this show part of your week. I am here with the genius himself, Anthony. How was your week, sir?
Stop it. Man, my week has been good. A long week of work, but excited for another episode of the Red Pill Phone Tap, as always.
I am Wesley. We are live from Navigation Studios right now. You know, one of the things we talked about in the pre-show, Anthony, was even though we pre-record and release on Monday, we do not do any edits to this show. So we are going to be doing more live things in the future, but we, essentially, we do this really raw. We go in.
One take, baby.
One take. We're like Ray Charles over here. One take and we're done. Before we get started, everybody that's listened to us before knows we don't like long intros. We like to get right into the fun. Before we get started, though,
about that action, boss.
Yes, I'm just about that action, boss. I'd like to announce 2 new countries, Anthony, have joined the Red Pill Phone Tap. Yes, I want to give a shout out to the Republic of Singapore and Germany.
Welcome.
Thanks
guys.
for joining us over there, Germany and Republic of Singapore. Of course, always loved having Turkey join us every week. Canada, India, the Philippines, Colombia, Australia, Belgium, and of course the great US of A.
Of course.
Thank you guys for joining us. Down here at Navigation Studios, we got a great show for you tonight. We've got 3 big topics to go over. We are going to take care of the topic we did not get to in episode 9, which Anthony had a lot of great content prepared for our viewers. That segment is going to be called Psychological Mindtraps, which we had a lot of good stuff on. I remember when I always know, Anthony, when you have a good segment, because immediately I want to start talking about it, and I'm like, all right, just stop right there, because I want to react to this live on the air. And I remember that was one of those topics where I wanted to stop you because I had a lot of opinions on it. Then we're going to go to we have another person on Facebook. And is it in the group 3% Men?
Yeah.
Yeah. How to be a 3% Man Facebook group. We're going to help somebody else. This is a gentleman trying to talk to his ex. That's a segment we're going to call Winning Your Ex Back ? So as our friend Ron Burgundy would say, winning your ex back. And then we're going to finish off the show talking about a topic that's near and dear to a lot of men's life, and it's jealousy. And we're probably going to have some takes on jealousy you've never heard before. So put your seatbelt on for that. Let's jump right into it, Anthony. We're going to talk about psychological mind traps. Now, when you come into the... you've read How to Be a 3% Man by Corey Wayne. You've watched a lot of AMS videos. You've watched a lot of Donovan Sharp. You've possibly read Rollo Tomasi's book series called The Rational Male. You've digested the Red Pill. Now we have to be mindful of some of the pitfalls that we can fall into along the way. And you put together a great segment here for our listeners. Called Psychological Mind Traps. Anthony, let's jump right into this. I'm sure you have these categorized where the most advanced ones are going to be last.
Yeah.
But what's the one that you want to lead off with here with Psychological Mind Traps? I know you had some good stuff for us.
My first one is the free mind trap.
Free mind trap. Okay.
Yeah, the free mind trap. Is that because when we give this episode out, weekly, 3 hours of our time, probably more when you talk about prep, it's free.
Oh, God. I mean, how many, just to do one episode of what we're doing, and And again, this is a passion.
Yeah.
You know, we're not getting paid millions of dollars to do this. This is a passion, and we're excited to do it every week.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This, like, we have regular jobs that we get money for, and we do this thing that we get almost nothing for, and this is the most exciting part of our week.
Right. I always can't wait for the week to end. I'm like, hey, I can't wait to get on the podcast.
Yeah.
Speak to the people.
Especially you and I doing leading up. I mean, we easily 2 hours just on the phone.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Oh, hey, I encountered this. Or even better, you'll have a real life dating experience. I'm like, man, we got to talk about that on the show. Or we'll catch ourselves sometimes talking about something, and we're like, damn it, we should be doing a podcast about this right now. This should be on the air, you know. So, I mean, though it's a 3 hour show, I think it takes up easily about 6 hours of our week.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
really,
that's being conservative.
That's very conservative. So, yeah.
That means we had a really busy week, and I know I've had a busy week this week. We barely got to talk this week, so.
But if you love helping people, like we hope we're doing on this podcast, it doesn't seem like we're doing much work at all, does it?
It's not hard at all. I love it, especially the topics we cover. And I know if I had this available to me at a younger age, how much better I would be as a man.
That's what keeps me going, Anthony. If we remember on the first podcast we ever aired, you know, and don't worry, we're going to get to Psychological Mindtraps, but the first podcast we aired, we said, you know, one of the most influential books that you and I have ever read is How to Be a 3% Man by Corey Wayne. Shout out Corey Wayne. And our goal was like, man, what if Corey Wayne had to rename the book How to Be a 4% Man? What if we changed the culture so much? And to your point, Anthony, young guys listening to this, that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me fueled.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I mean, I have 2 sons, so for them to be able to have content to listen to that will help explain what's happening out in the dating world currently, because if we talk about our dating world 10, 15, 20 years ago, it looks nothing like today.
No.
So the information to be shared amongst men is something that I think is very valuable. And it brought up a psychological mind trap for me of the free mind trap. And the thing for this podcast is it's not free. It cost our time. You know, it cost us being prepared to deliver a 3-hour show without just pulling shit out of our ass, right?
Right.
So I ask myself, would I pay $1 to listen to this show on a weekly basis?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I definitely would. It's definitely worth $1, right? So it's not free. You know, it has value. It may have more value than $1, but I ask myself that if I wouldn't pay $1, then it's probably not worth it, right?
Right.
So
But I like that a lot, actually.
It's probably not worth my time if it doesn't cost me anything. So I always do that with everything, right? That I say is free. If I see, let's say it's a line, me and you like food, right? If we in line for, let's say, the carne asada I brought, would you stay in line for a free plate of that? If you able to taste it and you like, yeah, I would stay in this line for a whole plate of that. Or I would be like, I didn't like it. I'm not gonna get this long line for the free food. It's not worth it to me, right?
Let me make fun of myself on that for a second, because this really happened tonight.
Okay.
I was trying to make, because it's no secret on this show, whenever, and I'll just go ahead and go live, my wife listens to our show every week, and she always makes fun that there's always this sound. Yeah, and if y'all don't know, this show is fueled by a bourbon that Anthony and I want to try this week. We're actually not drinking a bourbon this week. We're drinking a rye that was finished in rum casks, but I digress. But I was buying bourbon tonight, and to your point, there was a bourbon I wanted to try, but I looked at the price, and it was only $15.99. And I was like, wow, that's probably not that good.
Yeah.
And I made a different bourbon choice because I was like, I want to get something a little nicer. It's podcast night. I always think of, if you and I went to a happy hour, you and I would probably spend $40 to $60 at a happy hour. Easy peasy, with tip and everything like that.
Yeah.
But doing the podcast, we get to do something that we love. And for $40 to $60, you can get a really, really nice bottle of bourbon. Really good stuff. But to your point, Anthony, if they're giving it out for free, I'm probably just going to assume that's probably shitty-ass bourbon.
Right.
Right?
And I think we all fall into that mindset, right? When, especially if we're getting content for free, or we're getting a relationship too easy, or a girl too easy, it was like, that was a little too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe you were doing the things that you were supposed to do right, and she could not help herself. She had to conform to what you were being. And I think sometimes we forget that once we get to a certain level, we think that it always has to be hard, right?
Yeah.
It always has to be difficult.
Because it used to be hard.
Right. So we don't get out of that mode. And when it's more easy, we kind of like, well, this was too easy. Just like we was talking about before, it's like, well, I'm not going to sleep with her. She just gives it away on the first night. How dare this slut think and undignify me with her vagina? And it's like, dude, calm down. What did you do that night to get it?
Well, doesn't that all come from insecurity?
Definitely.
It all comes, well, it can't be. And see, this is where you and I are different maybe than a lot of our listeners. And this, we're not dogging on the listeners for sure. But if Anthony and I sleep with a woman on the first night, our confidence level, when I was dating and when you're dating, our confidence level was at a place, and I know this because you and I talked about it a lot. Our confidence level was at a place where it was like, yeah, this may have been the first time she's ever slept with a dude on the first night.
Right.
Because I'm very confident in my skill level. I'm very confident all the hours that Anthony and I have spent on the phone mastering this process. I'm very confident in my skill level. Now, I'm also not stupid. I know that possibly she could have slept with other guys on the first night.
Possibly. I mean, there's not a number meter on her vagina.
Right. Unfortunately, yeah. But at the same time, I'm really, because I have confidence, I'm not really caught up in that energy. Yeah. You know, I'm caught up in the energy of today, not yesterday, because a lot of things change from yesterday, man.
Oh,
you know,
of course.
we were talking about Bruno last week, and you and I talked about this on the phone today. And check out episode 9 if you haven't talked about it, because we're not going to go all through this. But someone that we were coaching here on the show, Bruno, talked about when the gal he was dating met her first boyfriend, that he basically got her after one night. And he was kind of comparing himself to that. And you and I, when we were talking on the phone, we were like, maybe after that relationship went bad, maybe she decided, I'm never going to be with somebody after the first night. And that has nothing to do with Bruno's skill level or his charm or, his seduction. None of that stuff.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's another trap we can talk about, because comparing yourself to the last guy, not a good look.
It's silly, but I think you're right. I think if at some point we're going to have to touch it. For you and I, it's silly, but we have to understand. I don't want to dog on the group that we're in, because obviously we've got a great segment tonight from someone in the group.
I don't want to
dog. I'm not dogging on them, but that group is a great litmus test for me, Anthony, because it lets me know, like, and my wife tries to share this with me all the time. It lets me know that as passionate and as many hours as you and I have spent trying to master this, not everybody else has. So my wife is constantly telling me, she's like, hey, you're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong, but you're really not right. You don't understand. Men have the ability to be like you are, but a lot of men just aren't. She's like, I know because I dated before you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, that's why when we first started the podcast, all the way back, I remember having to, like, hold you back.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't get pissed off because they're not where you at, because you were where they are before. So
before.
You have to kind of be okay with where people are and meet them where they at, because we can talk high level, and if you think that this is just too low level for you, and you think that all we can talk about is like low level shit, trust me, we can get a lot more deep in detail. And a lot of time our conversations about that. I mean, the low level shit doesn't do us any good to talk about, because it's like, yeah, it's like a shrug of the shoulder. Yeah, I know that. What the fuck, But when you're talking with someone who hasn't read the book 10 to 15 times, which
is the majority of our audience,
right? Who still get, and this was one of the things I think I left a note on someone's topic this week about getting to the point where you read the book and then you go out and you were having success, but then you get a scenario that is in the book, you just don't remember because you haven't read it that much, and now it's not who you are, it's what you're trying to remember.
Yeah.
And then you fuck it up, and it could have been a good girl, a great gal that for you, and now you're pissed at yourself. But hey, get out there, try to do it without reading it that many times. Fuck up, and guess what? You're gonna read it, and you're gonna be like, I don't want to mess this up again. I want to read the book, because that's what happened to me. I got caught in the same situation. I was maybe 4 reads in, 5 reads in, and I was like, I got this. You know what I mean? And I end up into a scenario, and I remember reading it. I just didn't remember what Corey said, and because I got this cockiness, this new cockiness about me, because I got more confidence, I fucked it up. Right. Also, because you mentioned Corey Wayne, he'll be talking about some low-level stuff. Like when he puts out a video, he does not put out nearly as many videos as he once did. But I'm subscribed to his YouTube, so anytime a new video comes out, I always watch the video. None of the videos are more than 20 minutes. Right.
So I've always got 20 minutes on, driving to work or something like that. But I will notice that a couple of things will happen when he's talking about low-level stuff, Anthony. One thing will be, excuse me, it'll be something I forgot, or he'll word something at a low-level lesson. He'll word something differently, and I'll be like, oh, I kind of get that differently now, because you and I, and just as long as I've known you, and I'm sure as long as you've known me, we've never been two guys that are like, okay, mastered that, got it. Mastering something is, there's a saying, mastering something is an ongoing process. There's a saying in jiu-jitsu, once you get your black belt, which in jiu-jitsu takes 8 years, and for you guys that don't know, I mean, Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a martial art that is still very relevant in MMA. I mean, guys that have great Brazilian jiu-jitsu are, Khabib Nurmagomedov, the Diaz brothers, all these guys. Getting a black belt in jiu-jitsu, sidebar, Tyrone Woodley, UFC champ also, he won a title fight and got his black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He was more concerned about getting that black belt than he was like holding on to his belt, his UFC belt. But there's a saying in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, once you get your black belt, which usually takes 8 to 10 years, now I've begun. You know, now I'm a master, and now I got to go back and do all this shit again. That's kind of how I feel like when I listen to Corey Wayne videos. I'm very much like, oh shit, I kind of forgot that. That's so old to me that it's kind of new again.
Right.
You know,
and there's nothing wrong with refreshing something that you already feel comfortable doing, because guess what? You catch something that you didn't catch the first time around.
Yes.
Because you're so new that everything is overwhelming. So it's like, man, it's a lot to take in. How do I actually apply this shit on a daily basis and not fuck it up, right?
Right.
So you got to go and apply it after you gain the knowledge, and then you're waiting for the results to come back for the feedback, right? So you can just like, okay, that worked. I should do that again.
Yeah.
Right? So now you're just practicing 1 feet at a time, and now you're getting excited, and now you're like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Instead of just mastering that one thing to the utmost. But it's almost impossible to do, because for us, you know, we're looking for progression. We're trying to reach a certain goal, right? Because you didn't come to Corey Wayne because everything was going fine in your relationship. So you're trying to either hurry up and fix something or hurry up and try to replace someone, right?
Yeah.
So, I appreciate Corey putting out the book.
For free.
And I quickly shared it amongst guys. But guess what? Not everybody takes that information and use it. Like, they don't see a value is because it's free.
100%. And because using myself as an example, you gave me Corey Wayne's book, and these last 2 episodes have been very Corey Wayne thick, haven't they?
It's the basis of the knowledge.
It's the foundation of a lot of the things we're talking about. But you gave me Corey Wayne's book, and 1, 2, 4.5 years later. So I gave it a quick run through, and you talked about it on the show last week. I read it, quick little, got it.
That's what I needed.
That's what I needed. I got this little skill now, and you take these skills out and they work. But again, you don't have all the answers. You haven't become the information. You're cherry picking. So it was 4.5 years later before I was like, all right, I need to sit down and really, really learn this. And I'll be honest. I know Corey Wayne's voice is not the most harmonious to you. That's the one thing you warned me about. You're like, Corey Wayne's voice is not. He's definitely not an orator or a commentator. But I will tell you, those videos that he put out, they're so valuable, because in 20 minutes, I can see him break something down and go, he's right. I need to read this damn book.
Yeah.
You know, those YouTube videos were so mission critical for me, because you handed me the book the first time and I didn't go look at the YouTube videos.
Okay.
Once I went and looked at the YouTube videos, I was like, okay, you know, whether you like his voice or not, this is good information. This is all adding up.
The audio book now refers you to his video.
Yeah.
So if you have the audio book, definitely stop what you're listening to and then go refer to the video, and then let it resonate with you, because you remember 7% of what you read on the first read, which is why you got to read it so many times. But it jumps up to 25% when you hear it. And if you read it and hear it, now you're at 32%. Now your repetition brings you up to 50%. And now your application brings you to 75%. So all this works hand in hand.
Yeah. You
just have to, like you said, master it by repetition and practicing. So you feel like that is a really important mind trap for our listeners. Like
They don't value information because it's free.
Free.
Man, that's a really good take, man. Yeah, the more I'm just sitting here processing it. And for our listeners, just so you know, sometimes when we're prepping the show, like we were kind of talking about earlier, if it's really good, I'm just like, okay, I want to react to this live on the air so we can they can see how we kind of arrive at a lot of these epiphanies. We don't want to just going to come out here and wing it for you guys. We want to have a show prepared, but man, I'm just sitting here having an epiphany that Anthony's right. I mean, in the information age, free information is just, it's just not valued. Like if you had to go to a Tony Robbins $12,000 course in an exotic location.
That's why people would swear about it, because they spent so much money.
Yep.
Now they swear by everything he said. Every word he said is worth more than any other word. Well, where did you get that? They'll ask you, right? Well, where did you get that from? And now they put it's like they putting a designer label on it, right? Where it's like, well, this is more valuable because he has this name brand, versus, well, did you listen to the information? Did you read the information? Does it help you, right? Then it has value, So I hate when people get this. Because we did it too. Well, before the internet age, how many people went to the library to go read the free books at the library, right? They were sitting there, but you didn't go read it because it was free, so you didn't do anything to do it. But if you had to go to Barnes and Noble and buy a book, you damn sure was gonna read it because you paid for it. So I definitely. Did you want to talk about more about that, or you want to go to?
Well, I was Googling for our listeners to support your point about if you pay for information, you're like, well, this got to be true because I spent money, motherfucker.
Right.
One of the people that I don't mind telling people, our listeners here on the show, my college degree is in business, and I was at a university that was. Very, I don't know, a little bit rebellious. They didn't want to just teach you all the shit the other universities were teaching. They were a bit rebellious. We had a lot of professors that had real world experience doing a lot of the jobs that they were teaching. Shout out to UIW in San Antonio, University of the Incarnate Word. One of my professors, if you look up Jack Welch, he is a world famous CEO of General Electric, and Jack Welch is the gentleman that came up with the Six Sigma program, which for years was the gold standard in business, Anthony. You would go take these courses, how to become a Six Sigma blue belt, and like people on LinkedIn to this day will brag, I am a Six Sigma black belt,
Okay.
But if you peel back the layers of the onion, Jack Welch was and this is my opinion, and I think my professor's opinion too, back at UIW, he was a terrible, evil fucking human being, He did some things that were pretty brilliant, but he also did some things that were pretty terrible, We all know Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Thomas Edison, though, he was one of the founders of General Electric, was pushed out of his own company by the board. That's kind of, General Electric is that absolute cutthroat company. Jack Welch, one of the things that he did that was like really smart would be, hey, if we can't be the industry leader in whatever this is it GE life insurance or GE, because a lot of people know GE owns a lot of shit. They don't just own light bulbs and home electronics. But another thing he would do would be, and this is just terrible, he would fire people that were in the bottom 2% every year, Anthony. So he would be shaving the company every year. So the first year that he cut out the bottom 2% of employees, that may have been a really good thing. Maybe those people sucked. But what does that look like year 10? Everybody knows that the bottom 2%, and by the way, I could be butchering this. This is just going from memory. But what it created over the long term when they studied General Electric as a company, it created a company of very stressed out, backstabbing employees. And the modern world, Six Sigma is a fucking joke to modern progressive business colleges. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Because this guy was just this ruthless, not caring about people. Hey, you're number 1 this year. You're in the bottom 2% next year. You're fired. And that's not how a good captain runs his ship, is it? You know, you're the best sailor this year. You're the bottom 2. I didn't say you were the bottom sailor. I said you're bottom 2% sailor. So what happened? Was that sailor going through a divorce? Did the sailor get cancer? What? It just can't. You can't be looking at people in a fucking spreadsheet.
Yeah.
You know, and but to your point, the information isn't free. You got to go through these really intense courses. They're really expensive. Back in the 90s, this was a real currency. If you had the Six Sigma training, it was a really big deal. In the 2000s, as they studied GE as a company, not so much. Yeah. But it's just, just to support your point, this is a real world example of, free information is not valued. I'm sorry. I just wanted to piggyback on what you were saying because, I think it's just a really, really good point.
No, it's good.
I
didn't know. You taught me something.
So, I don't know. Psychological mind traps for me. And I thought, Anthony, as we were going into this, I thought you were talking about psychological mind traps when dealing with other people, but you're talking about dealing with oneself, like in your own mind. Yeah.
Internally, because I can't talk about your psychological mindset.
Right.
So everything is internal when it comes there, and you gotta deal with yourself first to deal with other people. So you have to understand who the fuck you are, straight up.
Yeah. So I'm going to rewrite the 3 that I have in here, but I do have one that I'm pretty passionate about, and because I have a friend that's going through this right now. And what I would call this psychological mind trap would be hiding. And I'm talking more specifically about hiding from reality. Okay? You can surround yourself, even though you're in a bad situation, you can surround yourself with a lot of people that are just going to tell you positive things. We talked about this, I believe, last episode, where we talk about you and I are not going to get a lot of praise for this show. No. Because we're not making people feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, it's not popular.
Yeah, if we wanted to, trust me, Anthony and I are smart enough to run a show where we could just tell you people all you want to hear. And you know how popular this show would get if we did it? Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen that are listening to this show, you guys don't know how much money is in self-help shows that tell you what the fuck you want to hear.
Yeah.
It's almost tempting, like, we could run 2 shows at the same time. One of them's a fake show, and one of them's this show that we do.
Yeah.
And watch how popular, just playing and acting a role.
We'll be Joel Osteen on the
mic. Right? And we're just like, oh my God, listen. You just look in the mirror and you tell yourself you can do it, and there you go. And there's a lot of currency, and there was a lot of currency in 2019 in just telling people to their face what they want to hear. And you're going to encounter a lot of people like this. You're going to encounter a lot of your friends that are genuine friends that are going to tell you the shit you want to hear. Case in point, I've got a friend who is going through a terrible career choice. Okay. He's going through a terrible career choice, and I told them back in October. I said, you got to get out of this. This, it's a small business. It's a startup business. And the person that is, that's running this company is, to use our terms, he's a bad captain. And the reason I love, and I was telling my wife this tonight, Anthony, the reason I love your Navy terms better than my Army terms when it comes to, I'm the general, you're the fucking colonel. The reason I love captain and XO is because when you're out in the middle of the ocean, that captain, just for humans to be on a giant boat in the middle of the ocean, is super fucking dangerous. Yeah. If that boat sinks, people are going to fucking die because you can't breathe underwater. And there's a lot of shit under that water that wants to fucking eat you, you know. So just by the nature of a ship going out into the middle of the ocean, it's incredibly dangerous. It's just if there's no war going on at all.
Right. I was just about to say, doesn't have to be
high winds and storms and just
hurricanes.
And even no storms. It's like you gotta live where humans aren't supposed to go. Middle of the fucking Atlantic, middle of the fucking Pacific, middle of the Indian Ocean.
Mediterranean.
Yeah, or in the Mediterranean. You know, now that's even worse because you got enemies on all sides pointing guns at you. So my friend ends up at this company, and it's a startup. And he goes out into the middle of the ocean and figures out this captain don't know what the fuck he's doing. But it's too late. He already left his last job. That bridge, I mean, it's not a burned bridge, but the company wasn't doing well, and they were like, okay, happy this person left, because they would have kept him on, no problem, because that's a good captain. They're like, nope, we're going to take care of our sailors at the last company. At this company, you know, there's been I think to the tune of 4 total pay decreases, right? And, you know, my wife was telling me, she's like, I would have never stayed at a job that gave me one.
Yeah.
But it's a startup. You've got all these stars in your eyes thinking, I can get ownership of the company. This could be the thing that puts me over the top.
It's not your dream, though. It's not your company. So
he was going to be a part owner of the company.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So it was going to be partly his dream, too. But they got out in the middle of the ocean, figured out the captain don't know what the fuck he's doing, and they just blame everything on him, right? That it's not going well. And listeners, just trust me when I tell you, it's not his fault. It's the captain's fault. This boat is adrift in the ocean. No telling when it's coming back, right? But they've chosen to blame one of the sailors, which is my friend. Now, I told him back in October when he asked for a pay raise after taking 3 pay decreases, this guy has nearly doubled the amount billed into this company. And I told him, I was like, you got to think of this like you're in a bad relationship. You got to break up. And
No doubt.
I understand what you're thinking. You've done all this work. You've made all this progress.
Invested his time.
And he has. And I get it. No buts. No buts. I get it. There's this thing, Anthony, where gamblers, especially gamblers of football, they'll bet on a lot of college games on Saturday. Okay? And then they have a bad Saturday. So instead of being like, I had a bad Saturday, now they're going to take more money out of their bank account and bet more on Sunday on the NFL games. Right. They're going to bet on the college games Saturday, NFL games on Sunday because they lost. No. When you lost, you should leave betting that weekend. Come back next weekend
had a bad
if you
weekend.
must. Yeah. Don't chase the dragon in the Sunday.
That's why casinos are profitable.
Yeah, that's why all those casinos are beautiful, and we can't even put new shingles on our own homes, right. You know. But that's the thing is, so he is told this gentleman back in October, you got to leave, okay, and then what needs to be said, and this is really important. I want all of our listeners to dial in real quick, okay? his wife is an idealist. His wife is a very positive person. There's moments when you're with his wife and you're just, you're happy to be around her, you know, and she's actually a school teacher of very gifted children. And you think to yourself, you know, I have a daughter, where you're just like, this is the kind of woman I want around my kid, teaching my kid, you know, this positive energy. And I'm telling a true story here, Anthony. I was over there and I was having a face-to-face, like, hey, look, you got to make a change here. Okay. And I said to him, I was like, don't forget, and Anthony, I'll let you finish the sentence. And this is not rehearsed for our listeners. I looked him in the eye and I said, you don't get what you deserve in life. You get what
you negotiate.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll never forget the wife's look on her face. She acted like I just told her Santa Claus wasn't real. I'm not, Anthony, I'm not, I mean, I'm living in a world where I just think, when I say aloud, you don't get what you deserve in life, you get what you negotiate. I'm living in a world where I just think everybody knows this, and they just need to be reminded. No, his wife is such an idealist and such a positive person. She was like, I don't want to believe that's true. And she started tearing up. And by the way, we'd had some drinks, you know, that was part of the equation too.
Okay.
But she started tearing up and she was like, you know what, Wesley, there was a time where you needed a place to stay and we let you live here. And I was like, okay. I didn't know what the hell that had to do with anything. And I found out
Shit's
later.
Not adding up so
yeah,
far.
I found out later what she meant was, we're good people. We're good people. So since we're good people, good things are going to happen to us. And I shared with you earlier, my degree's in business. And spoiler alert, that is never anything taught in a business class in college.
Never.
No. You don't start a company and go, hey, look.
If you're a good person,
get your finance manager, get your vice president of operations, make sure you have lots of capital, and over here, write down some positive things on paper, and that way positive things will happen for your company. That is not the way the fucking world works.
not at all.
And life is not a Disney movie. But what my friend did, instead of doing what he knew he needed to do, he knew I was right. He knew, like, you don't get what you deserve in life. You get what you negotiate. He stopped talking to me about it. And he just wanted to kind of...
double down?
No. He just wanted to stay over there and hide with his wife. And all of that positive talk.
Because that feels good.
It feels good. It feels like, yeah.
That sounds like a better mindset to be in.
And I told him specifics. I was like, look, bro, Indeed, it's super, super easy to get on there and look for like a new job. If you spend 30 minutes a day, you're sending your resume out to 25 places. That's 125 resume send outs a week. Just sitting on the fucking toilet shitting.
Yeah.
Just half an hour a day, because it's most of those jobs on Indeed are one click. I was like, set a goal for yourself today. Upload the resume. But it was easier for him to hide in that emotion with his wife. Like, you know what? I'm going to kill it at this job. And when I do a really, really good job, he's going to have no choice but to give me a raise. And they sat over there together back and forth. And he knew that I would never tell him all this positive karma talk. But it was easier for him to hide over there and just hang in with his wife, talking about all this, the universe doing this and karma, and we're good people, so good things are going to happen to us. I mean, that's the first psychological mind trap I'd like to share with our listeners is don't let yourself hide in a group of people or a group of thoughts or a group of emotions that you know are not real, that are not going to take you to the next level. I'll give you another example. If you're going through a breakup, don't hang out with a bunch of people that are going to be like, don't worry, she'll be back. She'll be back. We talked about that last week, didn't we, too?
Yeah.
Where someone was like, hey, if she's liking your photos, she'll probably reach out again.
No.
Man, we don't know that shit.
Not at all.
Now, a person like Anthony and Wesley would tell you the truth and be like, we don't know if that bitch is ever reaching out again. We're not going to give you a bunch of positive talk. She's definitely going to reach out. Now,
keep it up.
Yeah, keep it up. Just stay positive, because you can be staying positive and you go down this really, really dark road when they never reach out. And you're sitting there counting the days on the calendar of when they're going to come back.
What I hate about that is when someone needs a reality check and they're given positivity, so now they got hope for any, because they probably would have turned the corner.
Yeah.
If all you would have did.
Thank you, Anthony. Yes.
But then when you
Thank you, man.
when you throw in some fucking false hope, now they get to cling on to it. Well, maybe it will. I don't want to leave just in case she comes back. And if she comes back, then if I would have left, I won't be there when she came back. And it's like, who are you living for? Are you living for yourself, or are you living for someone else?
And let me be more specific. That person that's telling you that is feeding. It's like a drug for them to see you get happy.
Right.
And they
really
feel
good now.
They feel good. Like, oh, I made them feel good.
Right.
They're not really. First of all, they probably don't fucking know, because they don't sit around and spend hours listening to audiobooks and Googling all kinds of shit on human behavior like Wesley and Anthony do for you guys. They just want to have that little dopamine rush of, oh man, I made him feel good. I gave him some hope.
Yeah.
I got him through these next minutes. No, gentlemen and ladies, that in your diet, that is like eating a Snickers bar. It's empty calories. Feels good when it goes in your mouth.
Right.
It's going to make you fat. It's going to make you feel like shit. You know what? It's worse than a Snickers bar.
A Snickers bar, yeah.
To our people that have eaten at the fast food joint Crystal.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's empty calories for sure.
That is empty calorie. Crystal, and I know that it's owned by White Castle, but I've never eaten at White Castle. But Crystal.
White Castle's good. Those
little square hamburgers.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
The onions,
So let me give them props. They're delicious. 100% of the time, though, it makes me feel like shit. I've never had a food like a Snickers bar. Don't make me feel like shit, especially if like I worked out really hard that day and shit. Yeah. Snickers bar, like, it'll give me a little energy boost, you know. And certainly Snickers is probably the dopest candy bar ever. Like, but Snickers doesn't make me feel like shit. With Crystal, that's what this fucking bullshit advice is. It's like Crystal. It tastes good, but the minute it goes down your esophagus, bad things from there.
Move.
Yeah. Bad things from there. So that's what I want to contribute on this. Anthony, I know you have quite a few of these psychological mind traps, but that's what I wanted to contribute is hiding. Guys, hiding in a group of people that are just telling you the shit you want to hear, that are not that in the world of your emotional diet, they're not giving you vegetables. They're only giving you little Crystal burgers. They're going to give you really bad gas, and they're going to have you in the toilet for a long time. You don't hide out with those people that are just telling you what the fuck you want to hear, especially if it's somebody that wants to date you. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
You have that chick that's always pined for you, and you don't really want them, but they're just over there making you feel good, and you're not able to move on. To me, it's a huge psychological mind trap, hiding in groups of people, and this goes with drug use also. That's another form of hiding. Drug use, too much alcohol, all that kind of stuff. Hiding from like, hey, I've got to improve myself and I got to move on. Guys, I got to get you guys in 2020. I got to get you guys to quit hiding. What else you got for me, Anthony?
Man, good shit.
We got some good stuff so far.
I wanted to kind of piggyback because I have one on that, what we were just talking about. So before I go into the other one, and not come back, we'll just stay on the topic. A mind trap for me, that I think guys need to be aware of is principles over honesty.
Ooh, I already like this already. What do you mean by this?
Well, you go by the principle of a thing versus the honesty of a thing, where you're saying kind of where with your friend, well, my principle is that I work hard. I should see the benefits of working hard. But the honesty is I'm not getting what I thought I should or what I deserve. Right. Like, it's just not coming to fruition. Like, seeing the reality. And I have just, all right, when we can keep it with dating, my principles is like what guys say about I don't know why guys have this hang up in I know it's not just in the group, so I won't pick on the group, but guys have some principles that, you know, I'm not going to sleep with her on the first date.
Right. No. They'll sleep with them on the first date. But if they sleep with, you know, so the guy goes into it and says, I'm going to take some sex if it gets thrown my way. But if they do let me sleep with them, she's a hoe. And Anthony, we talked about this on the last show. That's an oversimplified principle. I love this. I love this mind trap, by the way. That's an oversimplified principle because the example we used last week was one, sleeping with somebody on the first night is both you guys are blackout drunk.
Yeah.
You met at a club that had a foam party and everybody was making out, and next morning you woke up, you don't even remember having sex with the dude, and oh my God, what the fuck happened? And I was blackout drunk. That is having sex on the first night. Here's another example of having sex on the first night. You did everything you were supposed to do. You didn't text her all week, like some people do in the group. I love you, Bruno. You do everything right. You stay off text, and you just go out and you have a perfect date set up where y'all go to like 4 or 5 different places. It's seamless. You're laughing. There's just instant chemistry from the first time you lay eyes on each other. And it just automatically leads to sex, because what else would you do? Because everything's perfect.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. Those are 2 completely different experiences.
Yeah.
So if your principle was, if they sleep with me on the first date, fucking slut, fucking hoe. Okay, the second one's not a hoe. That girl may not have ever done that in her life.
And kudos to you and her for allowing the chemistry to grow, and then you do what adults do and fucking enjoy that moment.
Yeah.
Like, I have a big, my motto is enjoy the moment you're in. You never know if you'll get it again. So I can't just assume that I'll be able to recreate this moment. Hell, the stars could have been aligned perfectly for this, and had it been the next date, she's not gonna give me credit for date 1.
No.
You know what I mean? If date 2 isn't the same, doesn't have the same vibe to it, then she's not gonna give me credit for that. I have to recreate it again and get that energy again. You could have been just on your game without the effort, but guess what? You get in your head if you didn't, seal the deal, right? You can easily get in your head and be like, man, I didn't do this, I didn't say that, I should have said this. What did she mean when she didn't respond when I said that, right? All these little things you can get into when the date doesn't end the way you want it to be, right? So stop putting principles over honesty. Be honest with what you want and who you are. And when good things happen, don't kill yourself over it because it doesn't fall in line with a principle ideal you had, right? I've adjusted so much who I am that I wouldn't have recognized myself 5-10 years ago, man. So for guys out there, you are transitioning. You're becoming a better you. You're adding on to your character, and I'll say this: it won't happen overnight just because you read a book. It won't happen overnight just because you had a few successful dates, right? None of this is gonna just be a quick transition. It's gonna be slow, but as it slow builds, you're gonna start standing on certain things where you're gonna be like, okay, my mindset is totally different in this aspect when I do this. If I was on a date before, I would have so much respect for the lady that I wouldn't want to touch her because I didn't want to send the wrong message. Yeah. But now, if I don't touch her, I'm like, why?
Now you feel like that you're sending the wrong message.
Right, I'm sending the exact wrong message to her, right? So, and I'm looking for reciprocation as well. Like, I have expectations for reciprocation. I'm gonna make a new word for reciprocation. I want to see reciprocation, and I expect certain things to happen as far as our conversation, as far as our vibe, our chemistry. I expect certain things. Before, I was going in blind, not knowing anything. That's why have this inside joke. That's why it's called getting lucky, because you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen tonight.
Yeah,
you didn't know
what
out.
You were doing right last time, right. So you can't duplicate it, right?
Yeah, you got lucky. She just fell in line, and you don't know how and why. So now that you do know, and you have an idea why, now you can go in. It's not getting lucky. You got good strategies, right? And that you're being a man, and it's sad, man. We are having to be taught how to be men, and it's so. When you look at it from that aspect, you're like, man, I didn't know how to fully be myself. I was allowing society to tell me that I'm not, or I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be this way. I should be less masculine with this. So we were talking about that, and I don't want to get off topic because I was just about to. But the next mind trap I have on my list is projection. Right.
Well, okay. So Anthony, let's follow our mind traps so far. The first one was don't undervalue free information.
Right. The free mind trap.
Yep. Yeah. Don't undervalue free information. And then I came in with
the hiding.
Yeah, hiding. Don't be in a state of hiding, and more important, don't be in a state of hiding from reality / the truth.
Yeah.
And so this last one was.
It was, what am I noticing? Principles over honesty.
Principles over honesty. Okay. Just want to make sure that we're staying. So I'm going to come in with one because I was researching on the fly.
Okay.
And kind of piggybacking on what we were saying. When we were talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it was like, now that I'm a black belt, now I can begin. Because now I know all the moves. Like, all of them. You know? And now that I've learned all of them over 8 to 10 years, now I can begin, is what a lot of people say. And goddamn, if you didn't get your black belt, if you didn't start jiu-jitsu until you were 40 years old, you ain't got much time left. You're like 50 years old, you're a black belt. But another mind trap that I want people to steer clear of, and I'm going to call this perfection equals results. That's a big mind trap. Yeah, because you're already shaking your head. Perfection does not equal results. And I brought up a good example for our listeners. Everybody knows that this podcast is based out of Houston, and we don't try to get too sports heavy. But one of my favorite Houston Astros players ever, Brandon Backey, he was a pitcher for us in the first World Series that we had ever played in Houston against the Chicago White Sox. Brandon Backey was only a year younger than me. He grew up in Galveston, and he was a Astros fan his whole life. So for him to come up through the minor leagues and actually play for his favorite team, it was insane.
Dream.
Yeah. And Brandon Backey, the first year that he played for the Astros, was just having an amazing season. He had a 4.76 ERA. He came in late in the season, still went and got 10 wins for the team, and was just really on fire as they came into the playoff run, going into the World Series. And the Astros were down 3-0 in a 7-game series, so everybody knows this is an elimination game. Okay, and Brandon Backey is the starter of Game 4. Brandon Backey comes into the game, and he pitches 7 shutout innings. And if anybody knows Major League Baseball, and if you don't, I'll just share with you. What you want the starting pitcher to do is you want them to pitch 7 innings, and then you can go into your bullpen. You can go into your middle reliever, your setup guy, and then your closer. That's the standardized way you'd love to approach it in modern baseball. You want 7 innings, and you want them to give up 3 runs, because 3 runs is always manageable, no matter what. Yeah. Okay? Now, if they can get 0 runs, even better, but no more than 3, because that's a very winnable game for you. Brandon Backey comes in. Definition of clutch here. He's his back against the wall. He knows the Astros are in their first World Series game ever, and it's an elimination game. This is, not only did you go to the World Series, if we lose tonight, we get swept, which means the series is over in 4 short games. The Astros don't even win 1 game. And he comes in, little boy out of Galveston, Texas, and he pitches 7 shutout innings. And he only gives up 5 hits in 7 innings, no runs, and no walks. Just lights out against a electric Chicago White Sox team. Well, bullpen comes in, gives up runs. Yeah. We lose the game. Brandon Backey could not have pitched any better, and we still lost the game. For a kid whose dream was to win a World Series game, growing up in Galveston, Texas. My point, guys, perfection does not equal results. This is a mind trap that you can fall into. When you really get down the fundamentals of Corey Wayne's book, when you really get down the fundamentals, Rollo Tomasi's book series, you really digest the red pill well. Guys, when you're out here in the dating world, you can do everything right, but you don't know what's going on over in that other person's life.
You don't have any control over it.
And thank you, Anthony. You have no control over it. So, now I know that we, on this podcast, we try to do our best to coach guys into doing the right things. We try to give it a play-by-play breakdown. But what you can't beat yourself up over is, what could I have done? Oh my God, if I could have done the date like this, maybe it would have gone like this. Maybe it would have gone like this. I need you guys to understand, to not fall into that mind trap. You guys might come out and have a Brandon Backey World Series performance, and you still may never get a call back. And if you listen to last week's podcast where we go over Bruno's date, a friend of ours on the Facebook group, How to Be a 3% Man, I don't think it's an exaggeration, Anthony, to say, Bruno did 15 to 17 things correct. Mm-hmm. And probably only 3 real detrimental things. That's all it took. Yeah. Right? That's all it took. Yeah. But what I don't want Bruno to do is sit around and beat himself up, because sometimes you can do everything perfect and still not reach your goal.
Right.
And I need guys to get comfortable with that. Okay, that's a real mind trap to fall into. Perfection equals results, right? No. Not in reality, guys. That happen in movies. It always equals results.
And one of the things too, I wanted to say, we all read the book, hopefully, fully, and many of us multiple times.
And you're talking about the book "How to Be a 3% Man" by
Yes.
Corey Wayne. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
However, you know that I tend to deviate from the book sometimes. Everything is not. I'm not gonna be a robot about. Well, Corey Wayne said it, so if I ain't do it the way Corey Wayne said it, then I'm doing it wrong.
Well, what you're doing is you became a black belt, and you were like, I know all the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu shit that exists. Yeah. I'm gonna start inventing my own new moves. That's what you did. You learned. You became a black belt of it first, and you were like, well, let me try some shit out here. Let me do this shit. Let me do that. I just want our listeners to know that you weren't just winging it.
Where I was going with it was that when guys in a group are asking for advice, and then somebody offers advice, and then someone else comes and say, "Well, this is the way Corey Wayne says to do it." So this is the only way that can happen. Right?
They're like a group of Mandalorians.
Yeah,
this is the way.
This is the way. This is the only way. So
this is the way.
I agree, and I even when you was first introduced to it, I was like, man, just follow the fucking rules, man. Just follow the rules. And you'll be all right.
Will you tell that story about the dumb shit that I did, please? Seriously, tell that story about how you had to tell me to follow the rules, please.
Man, I can't remember the exact
I think
situation.
I think I was actually bragging to you that I knew the rules and I wasn't following them.
Yeah.
And I was making a joke, like
was making
for some fucking stupid reason. I thought it was funny.
You was making a joke like, oh, I knew I should have did it this way, but I didn't, and I got away with it. So, I got away with it. And it's like, man, look, fine, you got away with it, but the rules exist for a reason, man. Like the guidelines are there for you to succeed. So, follow the rules and see where it gets you. Don't be like, I didn't follow the rules and I was still successful. See, I tricked it. So it's like, all right, man, you're not a fucking genius because you was able to move around and you still fucked up. Because when I heard what you did it wrong. You shouldn't do that. Because the thing is, you may not see immediate results for what you did wrong because you got something positive out of it. It may mess up down the line.
Yeah. I mean, exactly.
So it's not about, a game in the system. It's more about can I follow the system? One, can I just follow the guidelines and see where it takes me from there? Don't just say, oh, I can skip around and I can figure out how to not do it by the system and I'll be able to still have success. And then it's not somebody else's idea, it's my own. It's like you're trying to.
And I want to point out too that whenever you're telling advanced game to our listeners that are out there in the dating world,
yeah.
Whenever you're talking about advanced game, it's because you became a master at this other shit first.
Yeah.
People talk about that with Michael Jordan. I remember old guys watching Michael Jordan, and I remember the game becoming flashy. Dr. J was one of these professional basketball players, really, really flashy. But I remember the old guys when they saw Michael Jordan being flashy. I remember all the old guys really universally were like, yeah, but his fundamentals are so solid.
Yeah.
Like that guy's so fundamental that now he can do extra shit and try and experiment extra shit. That's what I would like to point out to our listeners that you're doing. And you're still out there in the dating world doing this shit. I want to point out that I was not doing that. I had not mastered not a gallon of this information.
I had years on you, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I hadn't mastered any of it, and I'm bragging that like I'm gaming the system. I was like that little kid in the driveway trying to do all these cool, flashy Michael Jordan moves before I really knew how to dribble with my left hand.
Right.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. When you're talking about advanced game, and you know, the listeners know, I'll call you out when I disagree, but just observing you as a close friend over the years, you're coming with an advanced game after already mastering a lot of the basics. And even with someone like you, who's mastering the basics, mastering the next level, and then going out here and experimenting with different types of things that are almost breaking the rules of the foundational rules.
Right.
It's after you mastered that first is what I'm trying to get our guests to understand.
And I do that and it's hard to explain in a vacuum, but when I do experiment with different tactics or strategies or however you want to call it, it's because I'm trying to still perfect it, right? I'm trying to bring it back to
Corey Wayne 2.0.
Some of my old habits. I'm trying to see if any of that can resonate within the system, right? Like me, when we had a whole discussion about texting last week about it, right? So it's like, man, I am successful in this though. Like there is a avenue for it where texting can exist, but if you are new to this, don't use that as a crutch to use it as a way to get out of following.
If you're new to this, don't use it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I am so passionate about guys that are learning this for the first time, not texting, because guys, we're going to go back to, we talked about free information, hiding, principles over honesty, and of course now perfection does not necessarily equal results. But guys, I want you to be honest with yourself. Texting, and be honest, look yourself in the mirror. Texting is a form of hiding.
Yeah.
It's much easier to not get rejected.
I agree.
You get those thumbs behind that keyboard and you get really brave and you say things you wouldn't say in person, and
you start feeling yourself on that text thread.
Because I've been around women, I know that the things you're texting are things you would say to them in real life.
Yeah.
You're not using this as some kind of shield to shield your feelings. That's my point.
I see what you're saying.
A lot of these guys are using it like, I'm going to get a little bit brave. And if you wouldn't say it in real life, guys, don't say it over text.
Yeah. Because I'll also say this. If your text game is on point, and then you meet her in person and you're boring as hell, she going to be like, who is this guy that was texting me? Because this guy is in front of me is totally different. Now she's trying to determine, who are you, right?
Right.
And now she's kind of uneasy because she was like, was somebody else texting for this guy? Because he's not being able to portray what you so when you said that, I was like, okay, I get it now. I get it. Because I can't say what I'm saying over text in person. And if you are a better texter than you are a talker, then probably stay away from it and get your talk game up. And that way, you won't have to worry about the text part. You know what I did? You know why I'm so good at texting though? I studied this shit, like, honestly, man. Before I ran into Corey Wayne,
that is the most we've disagreed on a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went back and listened to that, I was like, we are really on different pages when it comes to texting. I'm so against it. I'm just, when we were talking about with Bruno last week, because there's a thing, and I don't mind getting off on a quick little tangent. There's a thing. Have you ever, like, tried to text somebody, and they just act like texting's not something they do? Like, they do not text you back.
And that's why I am against texting.
Well, hold on. I just want to follow me for a second on this. Yeah. Okay. And you just like I have a close female friend. And we're platonic friends, but we don't text unless it's like I send her a picture of my kid. And a lot of it is because I'm married, she's married too. It's already a guy-girl friendship. You don't want to fuck that up. You don't want to get a wife jealous or a husband jealous, none of that shit. But I know that bitch sits there and texts on her phone all day, every day. Yeah. But when I text her something weird like I just sent her husband a bottle of bourbon, and I'll be like, hey, did he enjoy it? I know that bitch is on her phone 4 hours out of that day. But with me, it's kind of like we have this barrier of like, I don't text. I don't text you. And it probably won't be like I won't get the answer to that question until we talk. And so anybody listening to this knows that you can create a texting barrier with somebody where you're like, you can put up this facade like, I don't text.
That's true.
I don't text. I don't. And
I've used that before.
What it really means is you don't text with them.
Right.
Now, when we were giving our friend last week, Bruno, some advice, he opened up the doors of texting. And what ended up happening to him? He got rejected over text.
Yeah.
Versus she may not have done that in person. He could have had more time. More time means you could have charmed her, you could have seduced her, whatever. But once you open those doors to where texting is a thing, there's more things, Anthony, that can go wrong that can go right.
Right.
There is like, for everything that can go right via text, there's like literally 500 things that could go wrong. For every one positive,
okay,
there's like 500 things that can go wrong. I'll give you an example. So let's text. Let's just text over just a simple sentence like, I don't know. Now, you'd be like, you text a girl like, hey, do you want to do something tonight? And it just comes back, I don't know. Now, you notice I said that purposely with no emotion, no sentiment whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
But the person reading it, and women are emotional, that makes things extra hard. Women reading it, you could just say, I don't know. And they could read it as, I don't know. Or they could read it, I don't know. Or they could read it as, I don't know. And depending on who the fucking person is,
or what's going on with them,
it could be any of those fucking three emotions. And you can't control what these fucking people are thinking. Yeah. You can't control it, man.
Yeah,
you are playing with nuclear weapons when you text in the dating world, and I'm so passionate about it.
I failed so much at texting that I'm good at it.
Right. But it's because you had a couple of nuclear weapons go off and like, oh, well, shit, I can never go back to Chernobyl again. There's too much nuclear fallout over here on this bitch.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, texting definitely takes a strategic approach, and there's only certain things you can do with it. Like, you can't build chemistry over text. Like, all you're doing is not video. You're interviewing them with words. You're not really building rapport. Just because you're getting answers to questions isn't a chemistry, right? You can't build desire over freaking text.
And I'm never going to be able to escape. It looks weak. It looks like you're brave over text. You're too afraid to talk.
But when I get a person from text, like, I won't go to. We might have a text show.
We're gonna have to have a text show because I can already read the emails that are gonna come in. Wesley, you're older. You don't understand. Young people like to text, motherfucker. It is too, especially for our beginners, it is too hard. You're going to fuck up too much shit.
All right.
But you're right. We need to have a tech show.
We'll have a tech
Let's
show.
not get too far off. We've got mind traps, free information, hiding, avoid it, principles over honesty, and of course, perfection does not always equal results, which is why it's so important to perfect your game. And that's, of course, why we talked about texting.
Yeah.
What else you got for him, Anthony?
Projection.
Ooh.
Another mind trap.
Projection.
Yeah.
Give our listeners an example.
Well, when we can't deal with what's going on inside of us, so we make it seem like it's going on outside of us. And then we can say, oh, I have a fix for that. This is how you fix that. But you're projecting what's actually going on with you, right? You're not actually, because this is what happened. Like, if you have a real common critique that you like to say, people is like what you give out in general, like you play, people are so dumb. Likely, you think that you're dumb.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you probably are what you critique a lot, like in a general sense. So, be careful with that mind trap of projection, because this is why I said this is an internal thing. This is not something that you can figure out with someone else. If you're always talking about it, say, man, that person, or if it, like, I know a guy who always says this. He's like, man, that guy ain't getting no pussy. He always says that. And I'm like, how you know what that guy's getting, man? Like,
immediately I thought to myself, why do you care?
Well, exactly. Because he's not getting no pussy.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So it's like, man, as
long as I'm pushing it off, he's not getting any pussy. Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, how would he get it then if he's not getting it? What would you do if that would be different? Oh, it was me, man. I'll just go over there and I'll just do what I do. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm saying. You don't know what to do. And a lot of times, and I hate to do it because I was in the group a lot this week, just combing over some posts, and a lot of the responses, man, kind of lets me know that person isn't really doing anything either, right? They're not out there. I could tell the way they respond that they're not out there. They're just regurgitating the things that they read. They're not really doing it, because you wouldn't just be so cold to somebody if you know how hard the process is to actually do it, right? Like, if you're out there and you're getting rejected by women, and like you said, perfection doesn't mean results. Just because you said the right things and the same, and you was able to get some kind of eye contact, and you was able to see some interest, and you didn't get the result you was looking for, it doesn't mean that person fucked up. Sometimes you swing and miss.
Yeah.
And it could have been, like you said, things that's out of your control. And I know one guy was saying, hey, I didn't say this to her, and I'll see her again tomorrow, so, no biggie. And then guys jumping on them like, you big dummy.
You big dummy. Like Red Fox.
Yeah. And it's like, calm down, guys, man. Everybody, mechanics aren't the same. Like, everybody's not on the same level, right? So they're sharing because we're not allowed to talk like this. You know what I'm saying? And now we're like supposedly in a safe place in the group to discuss these things, and then you still got meathead guy jumping all down a guy's throat to tell him how dumb he is and how he shouldn't do. Man, that's why he fucking on there asking questions, because he doesn't know, right? Or he's confused. So that's one of the things where I was like, man, listen, I can't deal with this projection these guys are giving, because if this same guy's giving the same type of response, it's because he has the same issues himself, you know? So I hate when multiple people start attacking a guy for being vulnerable, right? And especially online, because would you talk to this guy like this face to face?
No.
And because if it's, you don't know his stature, you don't know, you know how we talk about, you like when a guy walks in the room with another guy, you always size him up and say, can I take this motherfucker, right? What would I have to do to take this guy down, or should I find a different avenue? Like, what weapon I need to use if I need to confront this guy?
Well, Anthony, not as a thing where it's just machismo and yada yada yada. There's an instinct inside of you, like it's not like what would I have to do to beat this dude's ass. It's more of like, if this dude just went berserk, right in here, right now, how can I handle this?
Right. I mean, being in the military,
yes,
and being overseas, it's kind of ingrained in you to be aware of who's in the building, who's walking in the building, right? And what's the tactic or strategy you need to defend yourself or find an exit? Because every response doesn't mean I have to be physical, have a physical response, right? So, is it more tactical for me to leave the scene than to deal with what's happening in the scene, right? So, there's a lot going on in that. But when I'm listening, because we both have an aspect of saying, like, coming out of the military and then coming back into civilian life and then trying to figure out. I listen to people talk to each other and I'm like, man, you're so disrespectful. Like, you wouldn't do that. Like, that's why you'll see military people stick up for lesser people that's being picked on, especially by some dickhead civilian. You're like, dude, calm the fuck down, man.
Well, let me give you a case in point. What you're doing right now, because you talked about this earlier on the phone today, what you're doing right now about the guys in the group that are like, hey, I'm looking for information.
Right.
And the guys that are coming in like, hey, you big dummy. Baby, stop it. You know, and you're taking up for them. And you're just like, look, they're not big dummies. They're actually at a spot that I used to be in.
Yeah.
Like back in the day.
And
yeah, those are like our little ducklings, aren't they? They're like, we want to protect these dudes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because again, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position amongst other guys and saying, can I ask a question? Can I expose my weaknesses, really, when you're asking a question in a group like this, right? And for other guys to be like, oh, you left yourself open.
You big dummy.
Nope. I don't want guys to feel that way, especially if they open themselves up to us, and or the way Travis did, and we're going to discuss him here in a few. But
yeah, just in a few minutes.
It's not cool. You're not being the smart guy in the group by fucking shitting on a guy for being vulnerable or by a mistake he made, right?
Yeah. And this is, projection, one of the examples that I love about projection is how it feeds a real feminine-centric society. You know, and one day we might have to do an entire podcast on what they're calling now toxic masculinity. And one of the things, projection that I see a lot is guys calling other guys insecure for being masculine because really they're insecure.
Oh, okay.
Masculine guys like,
yeah.
Oh, Jesus, Wesley. So Going to the gym again, huh? Talking about your bench press best on Instagram. Someone's got a small dick. Oh, God. You with your masculine lifted up truck. Hello. Somebody's not getting pussy. No, bro. Some people just like big motherfucking trucks. I like going to the gym and being like, I'm going to challenge myself to be fucking physically stronger than I ever was in my whole life. Like right now, I'm bench pressing more than I ever was at like my most athletic or more than I was in the military. Man, it fucking fuels me, man. It makes me feel fucking good. It makes me feel confident. When you hear me talk about it, do I sound like a fucking meatball? Do I sound like I'm, yeah, bruh. I don't know, man. Protein shakes and, you know.
Yeah,
it's
straight up
like
projection. If you having that type of response to somebody else's fucking accomplishments,
yeah,
that's all about you.
You're like, hey, so you're so insecure that you have to go bench press a lot of weight to feel good about yourself.
No,
it's like, no, motherfucker, you feel bad about yourself.
Right.
And that's what you think. I think.
Right.
I don't think that. Yeah. I think, man, Joe Rogan, man, goddamn, man. Joe Rogan is such a huge influence to our podcast. And I remember one time he was talking about, I believe he had Tom Segura and a couple of other comedians on the show, but they were asking him because they were doing this big fitness challenge, him and the 3 other comedians, so it was 4 guys, and they were like, Joe, what do you think about when you start like working out like so much? And they were kind of being a little bit laughable, and they were having drinks on the show because they had done a big workout challenge and they had not done any kind of drug, including alcohol, for a whole month. They call it Sober October every year. And I'll never forget this shit. Joe Rogan got real serious, and he was like, man, when I'm about to quit, when I'm working out, I think like someone's about to kill my family. And then like, I gotta fucking protect them. Like, and I don't have any weapon except like my body. And so when I feel like I can't do one more rep, I think about that, like defending my 2 daughters and someone's trying to kill my wife, and he's fucking serious. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, so I've kind of adopted that, like protecting my little baby daughter. You know, there ain't nothing fucking meatball. There ain't nothing toxic about that, man. That's just a cool masculine moment to have, man.
Yeah.
And if you can't get that, to your point, Anthony, you're fucking projecting, man. You're projecting your insecurities onto me. I'm just trying to fucking have a good time and be a better person and be positive about accomplishing my goals. Man, if you can't... And by the way, guys, trust me, I'm not over here killing any weightlifting records. I'm just talking about my personal best.
Right.
I don't bench press like 530 pounds, no bullshit like that. But I'm talking about my personal best. Being a better version of myself.
Exactly.
And if you can't get that from watching me trying to accomplish goals, then to Anthony's point on projection and how that's an obvious mind trap, I don't get you.
Right.
Well, Anthony, I know you've got some good ones, but we are halfway through.
All right.
Should we get to the main attraction here, which is we do have someone asking for our advice and reaching out.
Sure. I got one more. We just talked about social proof over your own wants and experiences.
Ooh, man. See, I hate that you said that because, no, I'm serious. We could talk about that for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I think you and I did have a conversation for 20 minutes this week about that. Social proof versus, and this is a far bigger problem for women than it is for men. Mm. It really, really is. I mean,
what aspect? What are you thinking about specifically?
Designer items.
Okay, yeah. We did talk about
designer items are. It's clearly signaling to other women. It's getting social proof. You're not getting any more sexual market value by having a name brand handbag as a woman, but you're signaling. You know, you're signaling and getting your social proof through the handbags. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to have a whole segment over that, actually.
Okay.
We can't get in that tonight, or we'll never get to
All right.
our other two items.
So just we'll mark it for something.
Let us,
I'll
shelf that for now, my friend.
I'll go to my last one, and what we said, will we try to recapture things we lost in the same way that we lost them?
Well,
do we?
Well, hold on. You didn't even have to get to the second sentence on that for me. Trying to recapture things you lost most of the time is not good. And that's a good teaser for our next segment. Most of the time, it's not good because as you get better, that thing you lost probably didn't.
Right.
Yeah. Trying to recapture things you lost. Your past glory, women, relationships, friendships. You can spin your wheels for a lot of the years of your life trying to recapture things that are gone. And honestly, just saying that sentence aloud makes me sad because I've wasted a lot of my own years.
Yeah, it's a definite mind trap where you think that you hold a sentimental value to it, but it's a natural reaction to try to regain it. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of people regain the weight they lose. Their body naturally wants to regain it, so that's why you typically see you get to a plateau of losing weight, and you have to do something drastically different to your body to continue losing weight because your body naturally wants to put the weight back on. That's so, like, if you get off a diet, you typically start to gorge and get to the point then people start either gain the weight they lost or gain even more of the weight they lost before when they go back to eating like shitty food or whatever their diet was, right? So
Anthony, I just live, and I know this is bad radio, but before regaining things lost, what was the topic? Because I do want to do a segment for our viewers on that. I'm pretty passionate about that topic.
We had projection. You got that right?
Yeah, and then one right after that.
Social proof
over
your own wants and experiences.
Yeah. And I promise I'm circling this for everybody now. We're taking live notes. Anthony, that one in itself deserves an entire segment, and hopefully we can get to that next week.
Okay.
We haven't done our show prep for next week, so that can easily make it to the front of the line. And then, of course, regaining things that were lost. And that's a good segue into our next segment. Anthony, talk a little bit about our friend who needs our help.
Mr. Travis, man.
Anthony, what is our segment called here? Our segment called here is winning your ex back?
Yeah.
It's question mark.
Yeah. Travis has a true desire to get his ex back, and the way he's going about it is it's not exactly the way I would. Like I said, I typically don't desire my exes. We just discussed this about not wanting to go back, but
however,
if
you learned that through experience. It wasn't. Yeah. And by the way, for all the things we're talking about, this isn't because Anthony and I are fucking gurus or
no.
the Dalai Lamas of dating, which I should probably write that down. Maybe we should title ourselves that, the Dalai Lamas of dating. This isn't because we're gurus. It's because we've made a lot of these mistakes, so you don't have to.
Well, talking about it,
and we've also educated ourselves quite a bit.
Talking about it in the sense from where I am. I mean, I'm talking about years of studying and drowning myself in information and knowledge about human behavior, female and male, and seeing the whys and why nots and the hows of shit, right? And when I said I don't go back to exes is mainly because I know that either I had lost her interest because my value isn't where it needs to be, or vice versa. I don't see value in that relationship anymore. To go back to it is, in my opinion, I'm either lowering my value or my value increased, and now she's interested again. But for me, if you're coming back to me, that means you couldn't find shit out there when you left. So how valuable
Wait, Anthony,
are you?
That means that they came to an epiphany.
No.
And the universe was just trying to tell them that really and truly. Now, we're going to get into specifics on what these, when women say these things, what they really mean. But
Yeah.
do we have a jumping off point for our friend? You said it was Travis?
Yeah.
Do we have a jumping off point for our friend Travis where he writes us something? I know he gave us a lot of Facebook messages this week, because where we helped Bruno last week, we were like, man, we don't have a lot of answers to specific questions. And when we did that, we said, well, hey, let's go ahead and preemptively, let's send him out some questions of some things that we want to know right away. But do you have the original reach out, Anthony? I'm bringing up his Q&A now, live for our viewers.
No, I have my responses to him, and what my response was.
Well, okay, so that we can, and that's fine. It's there's not a lot of detail. It's certainly not like Bruno's story.
No, his is a little bit more short and sweet. And
it's a little bit more short and sweet. So let me set this up for our listeners. So again, we are in a group with a lot of guys, and then this group is a group of admirers that that have read the book How to Be a 3% Man, and that is the name of the group. And it's not an officially sponsored Corey Wayne group, but it's a group someone's created. Now, we've had some people reach out to us and have said, that they need some help on some things. Now, this is just one of the people in the group, and they are trying to win their ex back. Okay, and we sent them out some photos. I'm sorry, some questions, and for some reason it will not. The group will not come up. But Anthony, give him just a quick synopsis of what he reached out and was asking about.
What I will do is
I've got them up now, by the way.
Okay,
I don't know what was going on with their computers.
I was about to go into
little nutty, but no, give him a quick synopsis. Like you said, it's just a guy wanting his ex back, right?
Yeah, she's back in his life, so she's giving him, sex. She's in his life. She's good morning and good night text, and talking to him at night. So she's involved in his life, but she did the breaking up with him, and she wants to see other people. Correct? Well, I think it's worded differently than that. She's seen other people because she's not wanting to be in a relationship with Travis.
But she did break up with him.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I'm almost positive because you asked the question and you said, Travis, we have some questions for you before we record the podcast so that we have the most info possible and we aren't guessing half the time. Here are my list of questions for you, and Wesley may have some more depending on your answers. How many times have you read the book? And he says 1 time. How long did you date your ex? He says 1.5 years. What do you want to get out of this situation for yourself? And he says possible reconciliation. And let's start there because you've got some other questions, but let's start there. we start with he's only read the book one time, and I go on later to ask, when did you read the book, before or after the relationship? And he tells us before. Okay. Anthony already kind of gave you a great preamble of how he feels about getting back together with exes. A lot of people use this term, they call it spoiled milk, right? The milk has expired. It's still in the fridge. You tasted it. It's sour. You put it back in the fridge, and you come back in a week hoping things changed. And they usually don't. Okay, here we go. Travis, I have a question for anyone who has been through it. Me and my ex are talking again. We hang out and we hook up. Now we do hang out. I make her feel really feminine because I take control of the days we hang out. But as soon as I leave, she kind of goes distant and doesn't really reciprocate any of the flirting that I do first. She says we may get back together in the future, but she wants to be single and enjoy freedom for a while, as do I as well. Should I give up hope and just keep searching for the right woman for me, or should I keep trying to re-attract her to fall in love again? Super confused about the whole thing. So let's take it from the top. Travis, we appreciate you sharing this with the program. It's very, very brave of you to share this with us. And we always treat these situations with kid gloves because they're asking for help. Right, Anthony?
Yeah, no doubt.
So it says, me and Max are talking again. We hang out and we hook up. Let's start there. Because, Anthony, I already know out of the gate, you and I have two different opinions on this.
What's that?
You are very comfortable with, all right, so me and the ex have broken up. Now she wants to hang out and hook up.
Yeah.
You think, no problem.
No problem.
Yeah, you think no problem. See, this is where I fundamentally disagree. I'm like having sex with the exes like I am with texting. No. Zero tolerance. Here's why.
Well, let's define what that is first, because are you talking about period, or time has passed, you've been with other people, she's been with other people, she comes back around and she's like, hey, what's been up with you? Oh, cool. And then let's have lunch. And then lunch turns into a early dinner that ends up at the house with wine, and then you end up in the bed again. Is that a no for you?
Yes.
Okay, now discuss that.
Yes. And the reason being, and in this situation when we're talking about specifics, Anthony, unfortunately, there's no way for me to be wrong and there's no way for you to be right. Because this is a cardinal example of why I feel like you should not go rummaging through the trash with your ex. Travis has an emotional connection to this woman.
That's where I would say no.
Again, so you have advanced game. Okay, you've read the book 15 times. You're even inventing your own Brazilian jiu-jitsu moves on women. This guy's read the book once. Okay?
Okay.
This is what I'm talking about. Because
For Travis, no. Like, for what Travis' situation is, I would tell Travis, stay away, red alert. But Travis, for me, I'm going to. I'm sorry.
Travis is not, he is not the exception. Travis is the rule. And here's why. And we have more information to share on this, which is only going to support my point.
Okay.
But when men get emotionally attached to anything, it fucks with their logic. And men are rational creatures.
And we're emotional.
Well, we're not as emotional as women.
Well,
but once
I'm not comparing them to. I'm not comparing ourselves.
You know,
to
you're
them,
right.
But
You're right, and I'm wrong on that. Let's not compare ourselves to women. But when you can penetrate a man's emotional bubble, boy, we're loyal creatures. And we talked about this a few podcasts ago. Being loyal has served the gender of men for a long time. Why? It makes us great soldiers. It makes us great fathers. It serves our tribe a lot being loyal for men has always been a positive thing. Being loyal for women has not helped them much, so they're not very loyal. And guys, don't get mad. Yeah, women are fucking stupid. Like, no, none of that. If this was caveman times and another tribe took over the tribe, they might kill all the men, because you can't convert the men, because the men are loyal to each other. They're soldiers, they're warriors, whatever. But they'll keep the women. They might even kill all the kids. But they'll keep the women. The women are very valuable to fucking make pots and do cleaning and fuck them. Their vagina's valuable. Like, they would not kill the women. They'll no problem keeping those bitches around. But if the bitch was going to be all loyal and singing songs of the past tribe and shit, and I'll never stop loving my husband, that bitch would be fucking killed immediately. Her throat slit as an example to the other women. Y'all hoes better get on board.
Yeah.
So being loyal for women was not very valuable. Okay, so it's always been valuable for men, not valuable for women. So don't get mad at them that they're not loyal. Okay, that's what I'm saying. When you break through the emotional thing with men, we're really loyal. Okay, so we asked Travis, and I don't want to illuminate this at the very end. Spoiler alert: we asked Travis, "Is your chick hotter than the other chicks you've been seeing?" And he said, not necessarily. So let me read through the lines. So because Travis has feelings for her, in his mind,
she's hotter, yeah.
This bitch is hotter than she really is. And let's not even compare her to other women.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. She's hotter than she really fucking is. If Travis met her in a grocery store today, he may walk right on by her in the produce section, no fucking problem.
Exactly.
But because he has feelings for her,
right,
she's hot in his mind. Travis, I'm not singling you out. I know, because I've gone through it. That's why I preach to men, do not fuck with your exes, okay? Don't fuck, and I'm saying literally fuck them. Don't fuck your exes, because they will suck your fucking ass back in, man. They won't suck Anthony back in.
I was about to say,
but they'll suck guys like me back in. That's why I steered clear of these hoes. Once I was free, I'm gone.
And it's not
because oxen free. Ollie oxen free. I'm gone.
It's not because I don't have emotions.
No, you're just smarter. And now I'll tell you this. Today, an ex wouldn't be able to do this to me.
Okay.
Today, yeah, knowing what I know now. But I'm thinking about my past. These hoes would get right back in, and I'd feel like, well, and then
because you're giving her credit.
Yep.
For the past relationship.
Yep.
And you're not making her
Travis.
Prove who she is today to you.
Yep.
And today, Travis, she's proven to you that all she wants from you is hanging out and hooking up, and you're giving her more credit than she deserves.
Okay, we can get a little bit more advanced with Travis. You're right. They're hanging out and hooking up. But we don't have to be so simple. Let's be specific about what this chick is doing. Travis, if she doesn't want a commitment from you, let me explain to you how women see the world. The world is scary, and they don't want to end up with 10 cats and be alone. And Big Dick Rodney dicked her down last week, and he hasn't called her, and she's out in the world, and she's feeling insecure. And what you're doing when you hang out and hook up with her is, okay, well, I always got Travis at least.
Right.
Oh, thank God.
Back up.
Yeah, I always got Travis. And then Travis is like, cool, so do you want to get this thing restarted back again? No, not really. No. But, but goddamn it, if Big Dick Rodney just really disses me hard, I know I can come to you for the big V word, validation. Travis, we love you. We're not dogging on you, but we need to give you vegetables on this. That is exactly what she's doing. Hanging out and hooking up with her is giving her safety in this scared world of ending up alone. But ask her point blank, do you want to be with me? No, I want to play the field. I want to use my hypergamous self to get out here and see what I can scrounge up. But Travis, we can hang out sometimes.
Don't literally ask her, are we back together? Don't. He said that.
No, Anthony, thank you for pointing that out. You have to communicate with women covertly, not overtly.
Yeah.
Covertly. So it says here, now when we do hang out, I make her feel really feminine because I take control of the days that we hang out. Travis, this is very good. But I want to share with Travis and a lot of our listeners, Anthony, and I'm sure you'll back me up on this. Once a woman sees you as beta, you're kind of done. I'm serious. And I'm talking about, you're like, well, how long, Wesley? How long will they see me as beta? For the next 3 lifetimes. And I'm being serious. They really won't ever see you because even when you look beta to them, they're like, no, I know that little boy behind the curtain is really the one controlling the all-powerful Oz.
Unless like you guys meet in a different point in times in your life and it was so long ago and she see a lot of changes in you and you again, but this is why.
But this goes back to your point. You're better than her now.
Yes.
So why give her the time of fucking day?
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll engage in indoor Olympics, but I'm not going to give her credit for being with me before. Like, oh, you're attracted to me. You should be. So if that's what you want to do, cool. Let's do it. But afterwards, you still got to prove yourself to me.
Yeah, and see, to our listeners, what Anthony is pointing out, he has an advanced game where once things have been broken off, he is automatically transitioning to next time he meets up with this girl, he doesn't care if they were dating 1.5 years, 5.5 years, whatever. Though we know a lot about each other, and that makes things easier, you are starting at square fucking one.
Yeah.
I'm calling you once a week. We're going out once a week.
Right.
If that.
Yeah,
Depends on what my rotation is.
If that. And again, by doing that, by being sporadic and occasional, she has to chase. Right?
Right.
And if somebody's trying to get back into your life, they should be doing most of the work.
Well, we're going to get more into this, but she does a lot of the chasing here. Now, I want to foreshadow her doing a lot of the chasing because I have a very bold point on this that I've been thinking about all week long.
Okay.
Okay. But let's get back to it. It says he takes control and makes her feel very, very feminine. Again, Travis, we want to point out, once she's seen you as beta, it's moving mountains and sky to make her see you as alpha. I just want you to know that so that you don't go back into your Facebook girlfriends of the past and shit like that. You're just making things harder than it has to be. Now that you're the alpha guy, Travis, now these new girls that you're seeing, they'll only see you as that. You don't have to you regressively reinvent yourself. So
I would never go with a chick who I was beta with and try to change her aspect of how she views me.
Well, it's amazing. I do a podcast over red pill shit. But if I talk to some girl from high school or something, or some girl I've been friends with for a long fucking time, it's amazing how they still think I'm that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about I'm a completely different red pill woken guy that has a red pill podcast, and they're just like, oh, blue pill Wesley.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Travis, you don't have to do this. Like, you're spending 10 times the effort on this chick that's basically spoiled milk in the fridge, versus if you met a new chick, you wouldn't have to do any of this fucking shit. But I digress. Let's go. But as soon as I leave, she kind of goes distant and doesn't really reciprocate any of the flirting that I do first.
See that,
Anthony, do we need a moment of silence here? Because I'm about to drop some real truth.
I mean,
do you want to make this softer for Travis? Because you know what I'm going to say.
I want...
She goes distant. What does that mean? I know.
I still
See, you're the
want-
nice one on the podcast. So she goes distant. What does that mean?
She's fucking somebody else, man. But I want.
Well, Jesus, I was going to make it a lot softer than that.
My bad.
Jesus.
But my thing on this is what he said about it. He flirted initially, right? That's what we talked about earlier. You're giving her validation. You're giving her validation, but she came back into your life, man. So she has to prove herself to you that she belonged there, not get your approval that she's still able to get you. All you're doing is feeding her fucking ego.
And that's all she needs.
Big Dick Rodney didn't have to feed her ego, but she can get her ego fed coming back to you because you're going to give her the time of the day by the text. All she got to do is text you, and you're going to be thinking about her. And then she knows you're available because you're texting and talking to her all the time. So you're going to always be there for her. And that's all she needs. She don't want a relationship for you, but she want to make sure you're still there for her. That pisses me off right there. Like,
well, you're foreshadowing where I'm going.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. We're going to have a big conversation about this later. Okay. So I'm only asking you to hold off because I'm definitely going there. But says that doesn't reciprocate any of the flirting that I would do first. So I don't want to. We had kind of a humorous moment, and actually, I kind of feel bad. We just had a humorous moment that we were saying, "Hey, she's sleeping with somebody else." I kind of feel bad because to us it's obvious. To Travis, it's not. I promise.
Yeah.
And I want to point out to Travis, and this is where I want to shake off the meatball guys that might be listening. Travis, you care that she's sleeping with somebody else. I want to point that out.
Right.
And Travis, if you don't care, there's something wrong with you. You're not human. Okay. You were in a relationship with this woman for 1.5 years. You had real feelings for her. It's clear you have feelings for her. You care that this girl is sleeping with somebody else. And this girl came back into your life. Okay. And she is covertly telling you, Big Dick Rodney's in the background. Okay. Now, what I want to point out is if this is a girl that you just met, you wouldn't care so much that Big Dick Rodney's in the background. You would just be like, all right, got to get my game face on. I'm going to now compete. If I want to see this bitch, I'm a better dude than Big Dick Rodney. And Big Dick Rodney, I'm going to give you daps. At the end of the day, we'll see who wins this game. Whatevs. And I'm not saying you do that directly, but you're going out like, hey, I'm gonna take care of business. I'm gonna do things perfectly, like we talked about earlier in the show, and we'll see who wins the vagina or her time or whatever you're really wanting from this girl, right? Instead, now that you have this past with this girl, this is us just even talking about her sleeping with another guy is probably crushing you. And you see the disadvantage that you're at. This is why I'd say, Anthony, I don't like our new listeners sleeping with exes because now Travis, our friend Travis here, is instead of being out there in the world, hanging out, having fun, hooking up with women, he's got this on his mind. It's making him sad. It's making him upset. And by the way, it's making him sad and upset not because he's a pussy. It's because he's fucking human. This is how any man would be, right?
Yeah,
I mean, this is why you got to be careful who you give your feelings to, guys. Once a girl gains your loyalty, man, you'll do a lot of crazy shit for her. And by the way, guys, that's the way it should be. That makes you a good man. I'm not telling you to change. I'm just telling you to vet these women before you let them into that bubble with you.
She's at a disadvantage because she left. For me, right? And Travis, she should be
that's how Travis should be looking at it.
She should be at a disadvantage for you because you worrying about what she's doing when she's not with you and not responding and reciprocating the way you're doing it because you have something in your mind that we're going to go back, we're going to get back together, and it's going to be better because I know all this. But you only read the book once.
Anthony, can I speak on that? Do you mind?
Go ahead.
Corey Wayne talks about this a lot. He gets a lot of guys.
I think 50% of his people come back talking about getting that ex back.
I think it's more like 80.
God.
It's probably like 80% of the men that are ever introduced to this material. Like 80% of the men that find the red pill, something bad had to happen.
Yeah.
So Travis, you're on the right track. Okay. But here's the thing. So you come to this material, and what we find, and what Corey Wayne finds too, is now you've had this light bulb moment where you're like, wait, I know now what I did wrong. So I'm going to go back to this chick that I have feelings for, and I'm going to do all the right stuff, and this time it's going to work. What I'm trying to tell you is, Travis, she's always going to see you as that guy. You know, it's kind of like how your parents never see you as an adult.
Right.
They always see you as that little baby taking the first steps, and they always kind of never really let you be an adult. You know, the parents that do that are very progressive. They're out there. But most parents are just kind of looking at you like, whatever. Facebook's never going to be a thing. That's just a phase. Reality shows aren't going to be a thing. And you're like, no, Mom, Dad, reality shows and Facebook, this is going to be the future. And then, of course, you knew all along. But they just look at you like you're fucking crazy. That's what your exes do to you, too. They always think that beta is locked up inside. And that's all you've got this persona of who you are now, the new you, and the real guy's in there. By the way, your friends will do this to you, too.
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, why don't you be yourself? You read that Corey Wayne book, and you're acting all different. No. Once guys read the book, they're like, oh, I know what I did wrong in my last relationship. Now I'll do these things right, and I'll go back. I know, Travis, you don't want to hear this, but it's much easier to find a new chick. And what you're going to find is, now that you have these new skills, and Anthony, you pointed this out this week on the phone, you're going to find you get hotter chicks than you did. And then, okay, go ahead, Travis. Do the thing that a lot of us guys do. I don't care about it being hot, man. I love her. And by the way, Travis, that's a good quality about you. You're loyal to people that you have feelings for. The problem is you have feelings for somebody. And let's go ahead and Anthony, let's just go ahead and pull back the curtain. You're having feelings for someone that's evil. Okay, and let me tell you why. Because, Anthony, you started to go down this road, and I stopped you because I said, okay, hold on, we're getting there. These women that know they don't want a guy, but they string them along like this girl's doing, they reach back out to them. The dating scene hasn't been going so well for them, and they don't want to leave the dating scene. And they know that they can play these mind games with their ex, even though they don't want them. And they'll tell them whatever the fuck they need to tell them to make them think things are going to go down. And meanwhile, they're hanging out with Big Dick Rodney and all of his buddies and shit. And Travis, if you're being honest with us, she probably disappears for a few days. That's what's happening. These bitches are evil. Now, the women that just break up with you because they're hypergamous and they think they can get somebody better and they just never talk to you again.
Yeah.
Those women are as real as it gets.
Yeah, that is what it is.
Yeah, that is what it is. But these women are evil that come back in and play these mind games and pull on your heartstrings and do all this shit. I mean, we might as well pull back the curtain. That's what we're dealing with in this situation.
I've been down that road, man, and that shit sucks because they do and say things that sounds like they still want you. I'll say this, man. I had completely gotten over my ex, and she came back with questions to me like, don't you regret us not trying to figure it out and working it out? And like the whole time, man, I'm like, I can't stand this bitch. But soon as she came back with those questions, I'm like, well, damn, did I fucking just did I give up on us too soon? Was it something I could have did better? Did I just cut my losses and to protect my feelings and didn't really take her into consideration? I'm going through all this mental shit because she asked this fucking question. Meanwhile, I'm going through this agony. I don't hear from her no more. She's just threw that shit out there probably to see where I felt. And I told her at the time, I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. So I'll have to think about it. But I don't know. That was my answer. It was an honest answer, but also, sometimes you do shit on accident, right? So I didn't give her any direct response, but I also left it kind of open. But that shit agonized me because I really was trying to figure out, well, could I have, right?
Knowing what you know now, Anthony, do you think the other person in this story, talking about your ex, do you think she was sitting over there agonizing?
Hell no.
Not at all.
She wanted validation.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't getting what she wanted out of her dating world, right?
I knew the answer before I asked it, but I want Travis to know the answer.
Yeah.
That we're not just talking about his chick.
No.
This is very common across this gender. Okay.
That is why it hurts me to see other people in that sense.
That's why we're so passionate about helping people with this podcast.
Because I don't want to see you fucking over there agonizing about a chick who doesn't really truly care for you the way you care about her. And I could tell you care about her because the energy you're putting out about her, right? And she's not reciprocating it to you when you're giving her direct attention.
Yeah.
You're giving her direct flirtations. She can get the flirtations anywhere, but does it mean anything when it's coming from you the way it would mean to you if it was coming from her? You put more value on what she would give to you than what she is giving you when you're actually doing it to her. And you're not even getting it back.
And I want to compliment Travis. If Travis were my son, I'd be proud of my son. Like, when he has feelings for somebody, when he feels a loyalty to somebody, that shit means something to him.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. Not
at all.
Let me make sure I say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he were my son, I'd be very proud of him. My only thing with Travis is you gotta be careful who you get close to. Because let me read further. Okay, and this is where shit gets evil. Okay. And she says we may get back together in the future.
That bullshit right there.
But she wants to be single and enjoy freedom for a while, as I do as well. Travis, I love you, bud. You're echoing her response because it's making you feel better.
Exactly.
Let me repeat that for our listening audience. She says we may get back together in the future, but she wants to be single and enjoy freedom for a while, as I do as well.
Even
Travis,
other women knows,
we know better.
Even other women can hear that and know that she's full of shit. Women will hear, because women know other women's bullshit. Right.
Okay, and so this is female hypergamy at its best. The feminine-centric society that we live in just gives women a pass. Like, well, I don't know. Like, in high school it was crazy. And then, college, like, I know, like, my journey was the universe was trying to tell me that I should just have fun for now. And just, yeah. When women talk about, and Anthony, we've been prepping this all week. When women talk about their journey, they mean their journey on some dick. When they talk about the universe was trying to tell me about some dick.
Yeah.
I was traveling forward in college on some dick.
Right.
Okay? When they use these weird spiritual fucking words, it means on some dick. Just finish the fucking sentence with on some dick. I don't know. I knew the universe was trying to tell me that the closer and closer I got to my goals, it was going to make the world better for me on some dick.
Yes.
Like when they, all of a sudden these bitches become like fucking Dalai Lama, fucking spiritual priestesses. Like, that is them fucking womanese for sucking a whole lot of dick, riding a whole lot of dick.
You cannot take their words.
I just want to have fun on some dick.
Exactly.
I just want to enjoy my journey on some dick. That is it, guys.
You can finish their sentences for them
on some dick,
because that's how that is what, because what just like this, man. A woman can directly ask you for sex. Why does it sound like the whisper sound? The whisper song. Anyway, women can directly ask you for sex without directly using the term that they're asking you for sex. Like, hey, you want to have sex with me? Or you want to put your dick in my pussy? They're not going to say that to you, right? They're going to covertly put it in a way where you have to, like, put it together that she wants to have sex. They're not going to just put it out there. But just like she's not going to tell you, I'm out here fucking other guys. I'm out. You like, no, I want to.
No, I'm not fucking other guys. I just want to enjoy being single. Yeah, man, on some dick.
Exactly.
Motherfucker.
Like, that is, and I know, Travis, if it's, when you have feelings,
I don't want to hurt Travis's feelings. I really don't. I don't want to sound insensitive.
Yeah.
But I do want to drive the point home, Anthony.
It's not a. It's, you gotta understand. It's not a way to really verbalize this without kind of going in raw, because if we try to skirt around it,
don't skirt around it.
It's going to sound, first it's going to sound fake, right? Then it's going to sound like we can't tell you exactly what's happening. I'd rather tell you exactly what's happening, and you be mad at me than you believe this chick lying to you about fucking being with you in the future. Because if she really wanted to be with you, she would fucking be with you, and she would do what it takes to be with you, because she came back to you. So she has to work to get you. But she don't have to do no work, Travis, because you letting her know, I'm available whenever you want me. You can call me, text me. I'm going to be here for you.
Well, this is where I want to send Travis down the right road, because he's he's doing that thing that a lot of guys will do, where when the girl says something that kind of shelves him, like if a girl tells you, I just want to be friends because we're on the same Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu team. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to date a hot fucking dime I wrestle around with every night. That'd be crazy, right? You know, and like this hot fucking dime that I do jiu-jitsu with, like, we would have kids and they would be jiu-jitsu champions and shit. I don't want that. Exactly. Yeah. That's what Travis sounds like here, where he says, she says we may get back together in the future, but she wants to be single and enjoy freedom for a while, as I do as well. Because she said it first, Travis.
Replace freedom with dick.
Well, hold on. Travis, I want you to be okay with this. I want you to be okay. And this is the level I want you to get to. She wants to be single and enjoy her freedom, and I do as well. You know, because sounds good. You know, it makes a lot of sense. No, Travis, you want to be in a relationship with this bitch. Yeah. And by the way, nothing wrong with that, Travis. That's what you want. You want to own this woman. You want to own this vagina. I hope I don't get a text from Disney. I'm just saying, be okay with you want to be in a relationship. Travis, I'm married with a baby. I'm the last guy that's going to tell you wanting to be in a relationship is weak, because it's not. Be okay with what you want.
Yeah.
Don't adopt her opinion.
Nope.
You know what? I mean, Travis,
I
as I read between the lines, I'm like, no, bitch, I want to be in a relationship.
Right.
And the Travis train is leaving the station.
Right.
Bitch, you don't get fucking 2 years of college partying and shit, and Travis is just going to fucking be here. Bitch, I got shit I got to do. I want to be in a relationship with you, and that's it. And that's it. And oh, you don't want it? Don't fucking call or text again. You're not getting free Travis validation over here, motherfucker.
You. I love that. I love that last part. Do not text or call me again.
None.
Because she put
and Travis,
you on
don't
hold.
be ashamed of what you want. This is your ex that you have feelings for. Don't fucking be ashamed of it. Be like, look, I'm not going to be fucking sex friend zoned because I have feelings for you. There's nothing wrong with you having feelings. But you need to respect yourself, or she will never see you as an alpha, no matter how many times you've read this book, my friend. Don't adopt her opinions. Well, she wants her freedom, as do I. Travis, you don't want that shit, or you wouldn't be doing this. Be honest with yourself. And by the way, I'm okay with what you want. You want a relationship with her. Anthony, are you okay with it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with it too. So Travis, you be okay with it. God damn it.
And there's nothing. And there
ain't nothing wrong with his opinion.
And there's nothing wrong with wanting someone, right? That you, because there may have been. Because I don't know how the breakup happened. I really don't. And this is another trap we get into, where we don't know why the breakup happened. Especially if you don't know the book. If you didn't have the book and you don't know what made her lose interest, and then you probably failed a lot of shit tests with her. That was one of
because he didn't even know what a shit test was back then.
Right. So that made her say, you know what? I can find someone else who can pass these tests, and I already know he's going to be my guy I can always go back to if I don't find what I'm looking for. So, Travis, you don't want to be the fucking fall guy or the fall back guy when she's going out doing these fucking test runs, and then she was like, hey, got my pussy banged out several times, kind of didn't go the way I wanted, guys was a jerk, didn't treat me the way you treat me, you wanna get back together? And Travis, if you've been working on yourself and working on your purpose, and you've been reading the book multiple times, when she comes back with that shit, it's almost like I'm a lot better than who I was. And like I said, it's not a overnight.
Well, he's already better because he's starting to kind of see the numbers in the matrix already. I can tell by the questions he's asking. And this is where I get passionate towards the end. And I'm going to finish out what he writes, Anthony. It says, should I give up hope and just keep searching for the right woman for me, or should I keep trying to reattract her to fall in love again? Super confused about the whole thing. So I'm going to start with, should I give up hope? Travis, brother. And I'm going to look at this because I want everybody to know that, yeah. So we see Travis's photo here. Good looking dude. This isn't some guy that's a, what is it called when they can't have sex? An incel, an involuntary celibate person. Travis is a guy that can go out to the club tonight. He looks like he's a tall guy too. Bitches love that shit. But Travis is not an incel type guy. This is a guy, good looking dude. He can go out anytime. But Travis, what I want to go back to is you said, should I give up hope? Travis, when the captain is in port and his boat is in port, and his executive officer decided he's going to become the captain of another ship. We're using Anthony, I'm sorry, man. I love the Navy reference because we know going into a relationship, that's the great analogy. The boat's leaving port and you're going out into the middle of the fucking ocean, right? And you got to the captain has to have a great executive officer. Now, the executive officer that Travis used to have on his boat, be it a battleship, aircraft carrier, what the fuck ever, right? The Travis boat. I'm sorry, let's call it the Travis ship. All right. So the XO left, but the XO didn't get the station that it wanted, right? It was a captain of this little boat. The boat sunk. Now it's like, maybe I should go back to an XO position, or should I go back to a captain position, or should I be an XO on like a bigger battleship, or well, I don't know what to do. The captain, Travis, and this is your ship, the captain's not going to sit there at port and go, should I give up hope that my XO's going to come back? No, Travis. You're in charge, motherfucker. This is your ship. This is your ship. You're leaving port. Are you coming? Yes or no? Now, what Anthony and I are going to do to you also is we're not meatballs. We're going to tell you the truth. When you basically start cutting her off, she's going to start doing this fuckery, evil shit she's been doing. But if she doesn't fall in line with leaving port when you're leaving port, it's going to hurt. I'm going to tell you straight up, because you already had feelings for this bitch or woman, whatever we want to call her. I'm sorry, I'm passionate right now because I know the games this girl's playing. Travis doesn't see it. That's what makes me even more passionate, because she knows she doesn't want to be on the SS Travis, but she wants to act like, well, I want to be on the boat so she can be
on pause.
Well, yeah, and it's evil shit. She fucking knows it. And like you said earlier, other women, if we had a woman on this show as a guest, that woman would be like straight up like, look, Travis, this bitch,
let her go.
She is interviewing for other XO positions on other boats, and she just wants to know, like, if none of these interviews go well in the U.S. Navy, like, I can at least come back to the SS Travis. It's like, it's the worst kind of evil in women. Like,
and let's say she do come back. She's not guaranteed to stick around.
No.
So
she feels like she's doing you a fucking favor.
She does. That's the part that pisses me off the most, though. That she has the audacity and the arrogance to string him along this way.
Well, it's too late. Whatever this girl's name is, let's just call her Succubus. Executive officer Succubus. Let's just say it's too late because Travis has already read the book once. Yeah. He's already moving into the 3% male world.
Yeah.
And even though this is something from his past, and by the way, that is something very natural for a good dude. Again, I said, if Travis were my son, I'd be like, cool. His ethics are in the right place. He just wasn't careful enough with who he let into this circle of feelings. So we went on to ask him some questions. And I know I asked for some screenshots. Says they were together. It says she's sending him lots of messages. And she's saying how lonely she is without him. But she don't want a relationship. Just for our listeners, we're sitting here shaking our head looking at each other.
Right. These are remember I was talking about my ex asked me
and
that
she's
question?
Still in love with him. That's what she says. Oh my fucking God.
When that ex asked me that question, and it had me in agony thinking about, was it me or could I have done something different? These are those type of poison darts that they would throw at you to put you in to destabilize you and I want to say paralyze you because these are kind of keeping you at bay. She's saying, hey, I already told you what you want to hear, so stop pressuring me. Stop pressuring me into wanting to be in a relationship. I just want to have my freedom. Now, Corey Wayne says you gotta love them enough that they're free enough to. How do you say it?
No, he says love somebody in a way where they feel free.
Free, right.
100%. Well,
yes.
I agree with it. Yeah, I mean,
in this particular case.
Well, the implication of that, Anthony, is love someone so much in a way that they feel like they're free. They can do whatever they want,
right.
but yet they still come to you.
And I don't feel that she's a genuine person.
No, this sounds evil, brother.
In the words that she's using to keep you at bay, and you're holding on to these words like they're gold nuggets of reconciliation, and I don't see that. Because, and I know you're probably thinking, well, we're not there. You don't know how she said it. Travis.
Oh, Travis, trust me, we know how sweet and how much honey and how much sugar this comes across as. Trust me, because we've been through it. It says, in case our listeners, because we were kind of both talking at the same time, in case our listeners did not hear this, it says, she says how lonely she was without me, and she's still in love with me. And she's asking about his mother. Bitch, I see through this 100 miles away. Now, we had asked him some questions, and he said his current rotation is semi-decent looking girls. My ex is not hotter, per se, meaning physical looks-wise. Let's just talk honest fucking words here. But personality-wise, she is. So this kind of told me Travis is like, his feelings are...
he's still into her.
Because personality... Because let's use like some celebrities we all know, okay? What's the girl from Ghostbusters? The comedian?
Leslie Jones?
No, Melissa McCarthy.
Oh.
Melissa McCarthy is a comedian and actress. Google her right now. Very big woman. I'm going to Google her because Anthony cannot place her in his head. Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, I know who she is.
Has an amazing personality.
I mean, people think she's funny. She's just not funny to me. Right.
I mean, she's okay. She was really funny in Bridesmaids.
Yeah. I mean, you can have a moment.
Yeah.
But that's not, I mean.
But I mean, she's got an amazing personality, Anthony. I mean, what about Kate Upton, though? Well, hold on. But Melissa McCarthy's got an amazing personality.
Man, get the fuck out of here.
Man, I'm telling you, though, if you're in love with Melissa McCarthy, you will talk yourself into it. You'll be like, yeah, maybe I'm just a little deeper than most, but I just kind of prefer bigger women that make me laugh. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just a little bit different. I mean, maybe I'm just a little bit different.
That's making
Get the fuck out of
That's
here,
making
man.
excuses for your current circumstance.
Right.
So my thing is,
what do you think of here, Anthony? We brought up some Melissa McCarthy. What do you think here?
I'm good, man.
What do you? What's going on?
That's Miss
Anthony,
Miss Piggy.
have you seen how funny she is? Have you seen her personality? Do I need to bring up some Ellen DeGeneres interviews so you can see how electric her personality is?
No. I'm good.
But what about Kate Upton? Not as much personality.
You think I give a fuck about Kate Upton's personality?
Travis, that's what we're trying to say, bro. I mean, if the girls, you could not admit to us that the girl, look at Kate Upton.
See, you didn't say shit about old girl, and now you found religion after you didn't see Kate Upton.
No shit. I'm like,
hey, Travis, if you're dating
God.
hot chicks, you're not worried about her personality while you're dating her. You'd be like, oh, this is why I swipe right, because I could tell you had a great personality. Let's be honest, man.
Yeah, but man, hold on, Anthony. I'm a little bit of a deeper person. Like, looks aren't that important to me. Don't deny.
That's your
again, Travis. Don't go back to this shit where it's like, I mean, she wants her freedom, and so do I. I mean, that's what I want too. No, Travis. One of the greatest things about digesting the red pill for me is I just got to feel comfortable about the shit I want. As we sit here and we just look at all these fucking Kate Upton photos. My wife listens to this program. I know people don't believe that. My wife listens to this program. And last week, I talked about sitting down and writing down a goal of getting an Asian woman, my wife is Asian, with big titties. My wife has big titties. And you know what? My wife looks at me and goes, "Yeah, men should like big titties. It's one of my best features physically." Yeah, but that's not all she brings to the table. I mean, but at the same time, don't let this fucking world, this feminine-centric world, turn your shit around. I mean, she wants to be single and have fun, so do I. Travis, brother, maybe you want to be in a relationship. Your goals are your goals. Don't apologize for them, man.
You know what women that are not hot has to have? You know what they have to have?
Great lips for sucking dick.
They have
100%. First, now there's a list, but that's number one on the list.
If you're not attractive as a female or not as attractive as the above average woman, you have to have something else. You have to have a personality. If you don't have a personality, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of guys talk to average to below average looking women because those women have great personalities, because they know they need to offer more because they have less. So this is
you're getting into dangerous territory, Anthony.
Man,
you know the golden rule is you do not get credit for dating down.
I know that. Travis don't know that.
I got you. Now I'm guilty of going like more advanced game.
So
right. Oh my God.
You have to be able to understand that when I'm not gonna say ugly women because I mean,
so ugly women don't exist, Anthony?
Ugly. I haven't seen his ex, so I don't know.
Oh no. Travis looks like a dude that would have attractive women.
So I'm not saying, that's why I say I didn't want to say ugly women, but
and let's stay with the facts. He says that the other women he's dating are not. No, his ex is not hotter per se, but her personality's better.
Right.
So let's not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but I do know this: to stand out, women have to have great personalities. They have to. What else they have to do, Wesley? They have to enjoy sports, right?
They have to enjoy your interests.
Well, I'll say not enjoy it, but be open to being around sports or sport events and activities.
And by the way, for our listening audience that's new to the show, I was making a joke earlier when I was saying she's got to have some dick-sucking lips. I mean, that was obvious humor. But yeah, Anthony, you're breaking it down. Like, she's got to have some other qualities. I think, Anthony, if I'm not mistaken, what you're pointing out is it ain't special that she's got more personality.
Exactly.
All women that are a little bit less attractive are going to have these qualities, Travis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But because you were intimate with her, you're giving her more credit.
Right.
So that's where I'm trying to kind of disengage you from the reality of the situation and your fantasy of the situation, because you are, like you said, you use the word hope. That's why I use the word fantasy. You have hope of reconciliation of something that she's not willing to give you. She told you that. You just have to listen to her, and you can't be on some being on like hold, waiting for her to come to some fucking reality that you're the best option for her. You know, if she thought you was the best option, she would take it. Right now, she's not taking it, right? So, this is the best time for you to put the energy towards you. I would not take her calls or texts as often as you do. Now, can you be friends with your ex? Sure. But on your basis. And if you have emotions for her, like Wesley said you still do, then
Steer
no.
clear.
Cut it off. You got to go cold turkey on it.
We have to let our listeners know, when you have emotions for somebody, you're not at the wheel. You have to understand that. Like, your emotions will help you, like, rationalize a whole bunch of shit. You know what I mean? I mean, you'll use logic to arrive at questions, but then your emotions will explain away the answers. You know, it's one of those weird things where it's just, you, Anthony, have more discipline than I do. I don't get around people that I have emotions for. I just don't. I don't want to be at that disadvantage.
You said have emotions or had emotions?
Have.
Okay.
And clearly Travis has emotions. Like, given a for instance, with my wife is a bad bitch. Like, I love the Captain XO analogy that we always use. My wife at her work, because I already know what all of our listeners are thinking. Oh, Asian girl, very submissive geisha that walks around the house. No. My wife is my XO. At her job, she is the smartest leader at her work. Leader of all the people there. There's only one person, and that person owns the business. That's a better leader than she is. But when she comes home, I'm the leader. Travis doesn't have that right now. You see what I'm saying? Travis doesn't have a chick that's willing to be his XO. Travis has got his boat right now in port, waiting. I hope she comes back. I got the hope. And Travis, bud, you got to leave port with your ship. You got to leave port, bud. You can't let somebody hold up. And when I say leaving port, when I'm talking about the analogy of life, your ship leaving port, I'm talking about your life goals, like your life purpose. And you can't really be on your purpose if you're kind of hanging out and having hope over in this other thing. You know what I mean? And like I said, we just brought up Travis's photo earlier. I mean, Anthony, this is a guy with options.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's people that would love to interview to be the executive officer of his ship.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt.
Yeah, he just have to
He's got to get this emotional anchor, using more nautical terms. He's got to get this emotional anchor out of his life. So, to bring it back full circle, he asked us for advice. I think your advice is going to differ from mine.
Okay.
My advice to him is, Travis, my opinion of this person is not very high. I think this person is deliberately manipulating you. I think they're keeping you in an emergency dick break glass situation. And as soon as this person finds what they're looking for, they're going to drop you.
Yeah.
They're going to drop you right there in the dirt. And so why see how this movie doesn't end well? So why don't we just hit stop and not finish this movie? Get another executive officer, or take your ship out and your crew by yourself and leave port, brother. That's my advice, is leave port. This person obviously has an emotional hold over you. My advice, Anthony, get this person out of your life. And by the way, just cold turkey. I'm saying don't let her know it's happening, don't have the talk or any of this bullshit. Because it's clear she has the ability to manipulate her way back in.
Right.
My advice on this, and just with all the experience I have, this is an evil, manipulative person. Cut it off cold turkey. Anthony, your thoughts?
I don't know why you thought we were going to have a different...
Well, I know that you're very comfortable where, like, you can have your exes around and be like, cool.
Well,
hang out, have fun, hook up.
I was saying about that, and I broke it down earlier that if it was some time had passed and they showed back up and we went out and we did that, I'm cool with that. But I'm saying,
well, I wasn't attacking. I wasn't saying you were wrong.
No, I'm saying
you're like, hey man, I just said.
No.
If time had passed,
what I said. No, I'm just trying to, put it in perspective. In Travis's case, I'm going to say no. Travis needs to let go of his attachment that he still has with her. Once he lets that attachment go and she shows back up and just wants to hook up, I have no problem with that. Travis just got to know that he can't get emotionally involved.
Well, that's where I want to go next. Let's say Travis follows our advice and he goes cold turkey. Prepare Travis. What's going to happen?
She's going to put the full court press back on.
It's going to be panic at the fucking disco.
Yeah.
Because she's not going to realize at first, when it's like 2-3 days have gone by, no contact, she's just going to be over here, DM and Big Dick Rodney, no problem. And next thing you know, she's going to be like, whoa, wait.
Where's my validation?
Where's the SS Travis? Where is it?
He left.
Wait, no! Get him on the satellite phone.
Right,
he's already left port. Get him on the satellite phone. And then it's going to be, no, listen, no, I always knew that you were my forever and my only, and here comes the manipulation.
And see, this is the thing.
Why she didn't know that shit before?
Exactly. Bitch, if you knew this, then you should act like you know it. Don't fucking come in a fucking state of panic when it's not coming to you the way you thought it should. And
this should be a lesson for all women. All women. Bitches, listen, all women, if you hear nothing else that we ever talk about on this podcast, bitches, you are not allotted a fucking certain number of party years because that's what you fucking get. And then once you've fucked around with all the alphas and had 2 fucking kids by them, you don't get to come back later and have somebody like Travis marry you and take care of those kids that aren't even Travis's fucking kids, ladies. Yeah. That's not how the fucking world should work anymore moving forward in the year 2020. As we build our 4% army, Anthony, and we're going to be using that term moving forward. As we build our 4% army, none of these fucking bitches should, I got to get this partying out of my system. Oh, really? When men are supposed to be, quote unquote, getting this partying out of their system.
And I promise you, Travis, if you were to say, because my thing is this is the big thing for me. I would purposely, but this is me. Because I understand women in this point. This is why I would do it, but I would purposely just date as many women as possible and have the freedom of being able to broadcast that, right? Because for me, the thing is this: we both been ourselves.
I mean, she wants to be free, Anthony. She wants to be free and observe her years. And Travis does too. It's everybody's free. So if he broadcasts that on Instagram, I wonder how this girl's going to act. Probably not going to be very receptive, is it?
No. Because she
this
wants
manipulative fucking bitch.
Why are you able to date? Because the thing, this is how you piss off. What was it say? How do you get over? Who said it? AMS? I can't remember. But he's like,
oh, it's AMS. I know where you're going. How do you get the ultimate revenge on your ex?
Yes,
yes.
You date a hotter chick.
You date a hotter chick. Well, I mean, Anthony, that sounds shallow.
Notice
I want a girl with some personality. Motherfucker, there's hot girls with personality too, Travis.
Yep.
And Travis.
I'm looking at one right
Travis,
now.
Exactly. We got Kate Upton on the screen now. Travis, we're looking at you, brother, and you've already read the book one time. Let me tell you, I need you to get this through your thick skull. And I say this to you lovingly, brother. You deserve it. You deserve it because you've already done the work. You've already read the book one time.
Yeah, you're already
on. You're already on a Facebook group asking all the questions, trying to be a better student.
Yeah,
you don't deserve this shit, dude. Let her grab one of these other little beta males, lead him around like she's been leading you around. Quite frankly, Travis, and I'm sorry. We're just giving you truth serum here, okay, bud? We're not trying to beat you up. We just want to lead you to the truth.
Well, a lot of the, and I wanted to say this to Travis. You don't know us personally, right? We don't know you personally. When we do come across like it's kind of harsh, is because we definitely want you to hear what we're saying, okay? And it's not about coming at your head. We're not trying to take your head off of this.
Never.
It's definitely because my passions come from my own hurt from this same type of shit, right? So I don't want the same for you. I want you to be able to get past it without falling in the same pitfalls and mistakes by believing bullshit excuses or bullshit reasonings that they give us to stick around and hang around and be their fucking orbiters while they go and figure out which dick is the best before they say, you know what, I had enough and now I'll come back and let you treat me like a queen and a princess, however you're doing that, if you're a 97%er.
No, sir. We're in 2020, in the new roaring, soaring 20s, we ain't doing that shit anymore, man.
Nah, not at all.
No, sir. Travis, I do want to share with you because you brought up AMS, and I want to share with you something. By the way, guys, look up AMS on YouTube.
It stands for Alpha Male Strategies.
Just pure genius being dropped over there. So we don't ever mind endorsing him. Alpha Male Strategies. When we started this show, we said our dream interview on this show would be bringing on AMS, and that has not changed.
Yeah.
That has not changed. But Travis, to be specific to your situation, AMS, in his most recent video that just dropped this week, Alpha Male Strategies, he said he was comparing, now that women have computers and social media, women are all of a sudden like, they just don't feel the need to like really commit to one dude because they got guys in their DMs and they don't know what they want to do. And he compared it to kids nowadays that have 235 channels on television. And they're like, I'm bored. Nothing's on TV. I'm just bored. And AMS said, motherfucker, when we were growing up, we have 4 channels. 5 if you included PBS, which if you turned over to PBS, yeah, Mr. Rogers and Elmo and Big Bird over there. Man. So really only 4 channels. He goes, we were never bored with the TV when we had 4 channels because we would sit there and watch that shit until it became good. Like with 237 channels, you turn it on a show and it's like, if something doesn't blow up or somebody doesn't get shot in the first fucking 30 seconds of the movie, you're like, all right, next, move over to the next thing. And Travis, that's what this girl's doing to you, man. She's like, I don't know. I've got so many options, and the universe is trying to tell me to ride dick. And it's just my journey of riding dick. And I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm really glad that Travis is there because I know that I'm always safe with Travis while I ride dick. Like, dude, that is exactly what the fuck is going on right now. And Travis, you don't deserve it. Dude, if you want an executive officer, if you want to be in a relationship, we have never been shy about this on this show. Anthony loves dating. I love being in relationships. Neither of us is wrong. Neither of us is wrong. Now, when I was dating, I thought I would never be in a relationship ever again because I'd already swallowed and digested the red pill. But again, I know you guys don't believe this, but my wife listens to this program every week, and we have a phenomenal relationship. We just had a daughter. That's what I like. And Travis, if you want to be in a relationship, if you want an executive officer for your ship, don't be ashamed of it. If you want to be like Anthony and say, fuck executive officers, I got this shit. I just want to run my boat by my fucking self. That ain't wrong either. But decide what you want to do, man, and move forward. Anthony, you look like you're getting mad at me here.
No.
Yeah. You're like, this is too many damn Navy references. I'm having post-traumatic stress.
I don't mind an XO. I mean, she just have to earn her way on my boat. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give you the fucking title. You gotta earn it. So,
and right now it's in reverse order with Travis. It's like the XO is trying to make the captain earn his. No, Travis, you're the fucking captain of this ship, motherfucker. You decide when it comes in and when it leaves port.
You're always the captain. You gotta remember that.
Right.
You're always the captain.
Should I give up hope that this executive officer wants to also come on board?
What happens when a captain's no longer the captain? They call it a mutiny.
Yes.
Don't let that shit happen to your shit, man.
Now this is coming from a real U.S. Navy sailor.
Don't let it happen.
This is live, baby.
And if it does, you burn that shit down and you get you a new ship. And then when you get your new ship, you know that person can never be on your ship again because they burnt your last one.
Right.
So keep it moving, keep pushing forward. I say take time to work on you, and guess what? You're gonna attract other women to you.
He knows that, but what should he, Anthony? What is your specific advice here? I've told him to steer clear cold turkey. What do you think?
Yeah, this scenario, he needs to leave her alone. I agree. Leave her alone and work on himself.
There's no limit to the manipulation this girl will do. Yeah, she's saying things like, I'm still in love with you. Like,
you can't, because you
this
can't
is evil,
see,
man.
You can't see it because you've experienced her before. Now, you have to understand, you're not in the same relationship you was with her when you was with her. You're no longer with her. This is a different relationship you have with her. Even though you're getting sex out of it, this is not the same. Because she's telling you she has the freedom to do whatever she wants. But she's still going to keep tabs on you.
Right.
That's not how a fucking relationship's going to work when it comes to...
Well, that's certainly not how a non-relationship works, where someone keeps tabs on you.
Yeah, fuck that, man. You can't just keep dipping in and out on me when you want.
I can already hear Travis in our inbox. No. She didn't say she's going to keep tabs on me. Motherfucker, yes, she was. Like, dude, she wants all the benefits of a relationship and
not the responsibility.
None of it. Exactly, man.
That's what we should have said earlier. She don't want the responsibility of the relationship of being with you, but she do want the benefits of it.
Yeah. So, she wants to know, like, no matter what, daddy's waiting for me at home. If Big Dick Rodney just dicks me down and doesn't take me to dinner, I can always call the SS Travis, and they'll always let me on board. And I can cry, and he can hold me. And sex, I don't know. I just had sex like an hour ago. I don't think I want to have sex. Travis, we're not trying to be mean, brother. We just know that's what these women do. And the whole time they're doing it, they appear to be sweet as pie. They absolutely appear to be sweet as pie. Travis, we feel for you, brother. We feel for you.
But we also know you gotta leave that bitch.
Anthony, how can our listeners reach out to us on social media?
Instagram, Red Pill Phone Tap.
At the Red Pill Phone Tap on Instagram.
What?
Yeah, at the Red Pill Phone Tap on Instagram.
Oh man, why you change it on me? Okay. So,
Red Pill Phone Tap at gmail.com.
And we're also on Spotify.
Spotify. We're on
YouTube.
We are on Google Podcasts.
iHeartRadio.
Gosh, we're on a lot of formats.
We're on a lot of shit. Yeah.
Until next time, thanks for joining us here at the Red Pill Phone Tap.
Peace.